Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How are you?
Aren't you happy I remembered to play it?
Yeah, I totally spaced. I was not plugged in at all on that, so I'm glad you did have that. We've got the backpack guys outside blowing dirt and dust and grass clippings everywhere. That's all I can think
It's
about.
better than the mechanical bird yesterday.
I swear to God, there's a mechanical bird that's spying on me.
So let me ask you a question. What day is it?
Oh my gosh, guess what today is?
No. You forgot. What day is it?
It's hump day.
No.
It's hump day.
Thank you.
This squeaky chair is driving me nanners.
Why had the bird outside yesterday? Boop, 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 cheep, 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 cheep. But when it came here,
Yes.
when you were not talking, it stopped.
Really?
Yeah.
So see, I'm telling you,
I
there's
could
some mechanical sabotage going on.
I could
on the
hear
Wendy
it
Bell.
through the window. And you're like, there's a noise. I'm like, yeah, the freaking bird. You can hear that?
We were outside getting ready to come in the other day, and there's this big fat robin that's sitting on I don't even know what it was. I think it was a robin. It might not have been. Whatever mechanical birds come in. And it literally just sat there. And it looked at me. And I was like, birds don't normally do that. They normally fly away. And he just sat there and he looked at me. And I was like, okay, we have mechanical birds. Would you guys be surprised if there was like some surveillance in birds? I wouldn't. Seriously, I've gone down way too many rabbit holes with you people.
Froggy gave you $50 again. Holy Spirit rained down on the WBR Army.
I love that. I got my hair. I wanted to look like Murphy today, so
At least you got that right.
I put in very few clips today. So if you've ever wondered how big is her hair, well,
Pretty big.
how you doing?
Here, look, it takes up almost the whole screen.
It is what it is, guys. Okay, so the whole Democrat Party. What a great opportunity for Republicans to not suck, to try harder not to suck, right? You got a major civil war going on the left right now. And we need to get Orville Redenbacher in a bowl and just be like, because all of the people that are pissed off over what's going on the left are looking over to us on the right and going, that's got to be better, right?
Well, all the ones that fomented this, that brought this because of their rhetoric, brought this on them. They brought this problem on them. They created a problem for themselves.
Yes, indeed, they did. You are correct. All right, I'm going to knock something out here. You guys ready?
Is it knockout since you said knock something?
No, I don't think I'm going to do knockout. No. I'm going to do lymph system support. It's a hard thing to visualize, right? It's one of those hard things to visualize. You're like, I don't really understand what that is. PureHealthResearch.com, promo code Wendy. Lymph system support. Okay? So if your legs feel heavy, if you feel like you're literally on tree trunks, and at the end of the day, it's worse. Your legs are swollen. They feel heavy. They feel weird. It could be your lymph system. Lymph system is filtering all this stuff out of your system, fluids and fat and waste and all sorts of stuff that you don't want. And when that system isn't working and you're not ditching it, you can feel it in your legs. And one of the telltale signs, you take off your socks and you got a mark on your ankle, right? And you know a lot of people, older people who have this happen. Well, it's younger people too. And we just got to chalk it up to getting older. No. So lymph system support from Pure Health Research. Okay, they're going to give you a 365-day risk-free guarantee. You can try this which is going to help your system cleanse itself. It's got natural ingredients, things that happen in the world, not pharmacy stuff, but things that we know work. And it's going to help your lymph system drain all the gunk out of your body. And the result is often lighter feeling legs, slender legs, more toned looking legs. This is it. 35% off. If you're like, man, I don't really know. 35% off and it doesn't work. 365-day money back guarantee. Lymph system support. Okay, that's it. PureHealthResearch.com. Promo code Wendy. PureHealthResearch.com. Promo code Wendy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America, and good afternoon. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome to July. Welcome to a scorching heat wave here on the East Coast. We're broadcasting live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Wherever you're picking us up on any of the many stations, if you're watching us online on the live video stream, oh my gosh, welcome and thank you so much for being part of our family, wendybellradio.com. Join it, please, because today we've got a great show for you. We are watching something that even I think a month ago, we could not have predicted. And it's a complete meltdown, a complete civil war within the Democratic Party and an opportunity for Republicans to make major inroads with people waking up from the crazy. That is today's story. And I'm not celebrating what's going on the left. I'm seeing this as an opportunity. And if we don't seize it, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be our loss. Welcome. I'm so delighted you're here. Hang for a while and know that you're always a part of our family. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, it's one thing to watch what is going on with your opponent, and I usually like to think of the Democrats as my enemy. And maybe that's not a very healthy thing. But after what they've put us through in the last handful of years, after what they dragged the Trump family through, after what they put Rudy Giuliani through and others, I look at them as my enemy. That might not be very healthy, but it makes sense in my mind. I'm going to soften that stance today because I think what's going on the left, while interesting, I'm not sitting here celebrating this lunge towards socialism, but I am saying that it's the Democrats' own damn fault. This is the party that installed Joe Biden. People didn't vote Joe Biden in. All right. If you're still on the fence about that or your head is still buried, please wake up. They put an unpopular old man known for years for being a mental midget and a mediocre political person. They put him in because He and his crime family syndicate are corrupt. Joe was demented. He was a placeholder. Through him and his auto pen, all things crazy could be done. The borders could be open. Millions of people could come here. They could flood our cities, put us in danger, kill our sons and daughters, and pretend, well, that's just the way it goes. We don't have any power to stop it. And that's exactly what we've got. They created this mess. Whomever the puppeteer is behind the scenes with the marionette strings, this is your payday. You have now given birth to a fringe group that wants to destroy, not Republicans, I don't believe. They want to destroy Democrats because they're pissed. They're pissed that they gave the whole Democrat Party a loser of a president, a lackey of a vice president, and still, who do they have as a palette of candidates to make changes in the future? Nobody. Billionaires, millionaires, people who don't fit the mold, who don't speak to the young people, who, by the way, by and large, 85% are white, 80% are college educated, and they claim, as the Democratic Socialists of America, to represent the working class. Well, that's super interesting. And I want to read you just a couple paragraphs of a story that I think, an op-ed that I think you're going to find very interesting. And it's an opinion piece in the New York Times today. And here's what it says: a working class party without many workers. Don't you hate it when people who've never had a job, who've never balanced a budget, who've never had to manage all of the tax implications of growing a budget and growing a business, who've never stayed awake at night, chewing their fingernails to the quick because they don't know if they have enough to make it another month? Don't you hate it when those people try to finger wag you and tell you what's good for you and what's not? New York Times calling it out is pretty solid. Candidates aligned with the Democrat Socialists of America, my friends, are surging to victory on the claim that they are proponents of a government by, for, and of the working class that will wrest power from both far-right Republicans and corporate Democrats. But here's the problem. Most of the leadership of the DSA and a majority of voters who back its candidates are in no way working class. Instead, this elite made up of well-educated professionals dominates this insurgency. The DSA's agenda, in turn, is packed with policies supported by left-wing liberals, white progressives in particular, but strongly opposed by both white and minority working class, defined in pollster shorthand as non-college educated voters. These policies include more or less open borders, defunding police, abolishing immigrations and customs enforcement, as well as support for an array of transgender rights. Did you know that in a 2021 DSA survey of its own members, it found 85% were non-Hispanic white, which is far greater than the national population, 57.8% white back in 2020. 9% were Hispanic, 5% Asian American, and 4% Black. Beyond that, 4% of the members held blue-collar jobs. I'm going to say that again. 4 for our Spanish-speaking friends. 4% of its members of the Democratic Socialists of America held blue-collar jobs. Meantime, nearly 6 out of 10 held professional jobs. The remainder were students or were unemployed or disabled. 80% of the members 25 and older had college degrees, and 35% had a master's degree. Don't tell me this ideology wasn't created by the left because of their hatred and vitriol for Donald Trump. Resist Trump at all costs. He's a Nazi. He's a fascist. Blah, 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 blah. He's a king. That spawned this group of ne'er-do-well products from public education that failed upwards into college and even further into graduate school. And these are the people who don't have real jobs, in fact, don't have jobs probably, who are finger wagging you. That's one side of this, ladies and gentlemen, right? On the other side, what is the president of the United States doing? Freaking masterclass. It's 9D chess, ladies and gentlemen. We're well beyond 4 dimensions here. All right. We're out into another level. New York Post headline: Trump confirms GOP will hold midterm convention in Dallas in September. Are you kidding me? This has never been done before. A GOP convention for the midterms. And it's so curious that they would choose Texas, isn't it? President Trump confirmed Tuesday that the Republican Party will host an unusual midterm convention in Dallas, September 9th and 10th. The location and the dates for the event, designed to drum up enthusiasm for GOP candidates ahead of the November 3 election, were first reported by Bloomberg News. Big news! This is what Trump wrote on Truth. For the first time ever, the Republican Party will hold a midterm convention. It will be in Dallas, one of my favorite places in the world. He says it will be fantastic. It's never been done before, and it will be a truly historic event, the president continued. We're going to celebrate the great American comeback and the incredible successes of the American people who transformed our country through the America First agenda. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, stronger borders, safer ever communities, lower costs, and real affordability, more jobs, American energy dominance, and so much more. He goes on to talk about oil prices dropping sharply, even as we denuclearize Iran. Do you see what he's doing? As the Democrats are having a civil war over here, and you've got long-term incumbents now, like the 15-term woman who was just booted from Colorado from the House. Oh, we're going to talk about that race in just a minute. These Democrats know it's game on. Now, look, if you're a black voter and you've never voted Republican, if you're a Jewish person, 65%, 70% register as Democrats. If you're working class of any capacity, if you're literally Hispanic, Asian, what the hell are the Democrats selling you? They're telling you to stay calm, stay home, stay safe, give us money. We're going to tax the billionaires. We're going to open up all of the prisons. We're going to get rid of ICE. We're going to defund the police, and it's going to be great. These people who are common sense, who used to be with the Democrat Party, aren't going to have anywhere to go. They're going to be orphans. And there's going to be a very big tent in Dallas, Texas, 2 days in September. And the president is saying, come check us out. You might not like me, but I guarantee you're going to hate what's coming your way if you go on the left. Brilliant. So you go ahead, Democrats. You go ahead. Chew on that. We have a convention to plan. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, a Democrat socialist beats a 15-time Democrat incumbent in Colorado. Do you think the DNC is paying attention now? I'm going to go with C next. I think it's brilliant. He doesn't even have to weigh in. Like, he can be asked about it. Trump can be asked about it. Look, they're not socialists. They're full out communists. We know what's going on. It's one and the same. It's like, it's putting the frog in the water. That's what that's the socialist is. We know damn well what they're doing. They'll do their thing. We're going to continue drilling. We're going to continue exporting oil. We're going to continue dropping prices. We're going to continue fighting for you. And when all of these things, and we've got several months to go, was it like 182 days or something like that until the midterms? That's the case of the Republican Party. Bringing down costs, listening to the people, doing what needs to be done, and protecting the American people. That's it. That's the game. Over here, no. And if we don't pick up a lot of voters, I'd be shocked. Okay, bloodflow7.com. I'm going to hit it out of the park out of the beginning here. Bloodflow7.com has completely changed my life. I'm an active person. I don't sit around. I'm not a heavy person. I'm not lazy. However, 40s and 50s happen. You begin to slow down a little bit. I didn't realize how much I had slowed down till I started taking bloodflow7.com. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It's a product by Juvenon. It's very basic, opens up your blood vessels so more blood can flow. And when more blood flows, you have more stamina, more strength, more determination. You have more energy. You have more clarity. And men, it makes a difference for you too. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. 30% off. Oh my. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? I didn't forget my healthy cell calm mood today. I figured I needed almost to take a double dose, but I didn't. I think it's fascinating. New York Times calling it out. Hey, look, the Democrats created this monster, right? Created this monster. And you know what? Quite frankly, I think moderate Democrats are going to look to the Republican Party to save them. I really do. I really do. They're all going to go down. They're going to go down.
Create a lot of independent people running.
And so independent, it's a curious moniker because you really aren't. You have to align one way or another. You have to choose, right? And the majority of independents choose Democrats. Will they now? I cannot. One of the things I'm looking forward to going back to 10 a.m. or going to 10 a.m. until 1. The show moves August 17th. Just so you know, you got a month and a half. Okay. I'm going to be able to drink Crescent Mountain coffee again. Because at noon, I mean, I'm drinking it now, which is delicious, but I'm not really hot for coffee at noon. 9-10 in the morning, bring it. I'm so excited. CrescentMountainCoffee.com, our brand.
We need iced coffee.
We need to get you. We want to get in touch with Chef IQ and see what kind of machines they have. They got to have something, don't you? Eyes to it. It's everything that you and I, if you are a common sense conservative person, the way I am, the same thing that we didn't like about the Democrat Party. They don't listen. They don't listen. They don't care. They didn't take stock of what their voters were saying. Their voters didn't want open borders. Their voters didn't want to feel unsafe. Their voters did not want freaking Joe Biden. And then after he had to slither away because it came out in the debate that he was right, everything that we saw, they gave the Democrats Kamala Harris. They didn't give him a choice. There was no primary. There was no option. You didn't have a voice. The door was closed in their faces. And the primarily white progressive wing of the Democrat Party was like, that's it. Enough. And this is where we are. And so last night in Colorado, here's your headline. A Democrat socialist unseats a 15-term congresswoman in Colorado, a 68-year-old broad. 15 terms, almost 30 years. 30 years. Bye-bye. Uprooted by a 29-year-old who's like, yeah, I don't really like what you're doing. And everyone's like, I agree. I'm going to vote with you. What? Is this literally all it takes? So I had to do a phonetic pronunciation. Milad Kiros, 29-year-old Democratic socialist and first-time candidate, ousted Democratic Rep Diana DeGette. Is that how you say her name? I don't care. Of Colorado in a primary challenge yesterday. DeGette, 15-term incumbent, first elected in 1996, is the second member of Congress to lose her seat to a younger Democrat socialist challenger after Daria-Liza Villa-Chevalier unseated Representative Adriano Espaillat, the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus in New York's 13th District last week. Oh, by the way, August 4th is a really big date. It's like 12 states primaries. And there's one in particular in Florida that's being closely watched. And it looks like this whole situation, an incumbent Democrat could go down there as well. Chevalier's and Kiros's challenges come amid widespread discontent and frustration among Democratic voters with party leadership in the wake of President Donald Trump's election. He was the trigger that got them all going, right? Both Espelot and DeJet are longtime progressives whom their opponents cast as representatives of, listen to this, a failing Democratic establishment beholden to corporate interests. Chevalier and Keros both have a history of pro-Palestine activism and made opposing Israel's war in Gaza central to their campaigns. I want you to hear what she had to say. And then I wonder what your thoughts are about this, because this woman, 29, not a professional politician. She said something about 9/11, and a reporter asked her about it. And this is, I believe, the answer that got a lot of eggs in her basket. And it's scary. Listen.
Do you believe that the 9/11 terrorist attacks on America were the inevitable consequence of American foreign policy?
Inevitable in the sense that we destabilized a lot of the Middle East, that forced people to believe that another act of violence was the only response. And again, just like I said before, our responsibility is to getting rid of those conditions that lead to violence in the first place.
So America is responsible for 9/11. What she said resonates with some people. And hear me out on this. Do you believe our government has ever been clean? I trust this iteration of it presently, but I don't think it's squeaky. I think around the world, America is seen as meddlers, kingmakers, regime overthrowers, government installers. And that what she just said resonates with a lot of people on the left. It's scary to me because I remember 9/11. She doesn't. She was just a kid. I was a television reporter covering it. You guys remember the images wall to wall? People covered in that soot, that ash, the concrete dust of those two towers coming down, the desperation of people walking around like zombies in New York City with sandwich boards, with pictures of their loved ones saying, please, have you seen my husband? Have you seen my daughter? Help me find them. 3,000 people. The Democrat Party now seems like it is no longer unburdened by what has been. They're being replaced. They're being replaced by a group of people cultivated, given birth to by the Democrat Party. The Democrats used them, told them stuff, sold them a bill of goods it didn't deliver. Under the Democrats, everything cost more. And the American dream started slipping through people's fingers. Whatever this young lady believes, there's going to be a hell of a reckoning in November. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, the anti-incumbent wave sweeping America, and it just took down a 3-term Democrat senator from Colorado. Pay attention. We'll be back right after this on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
See, the only way Democrats are going to be able to change the course is not let these people win. That's the only way.
You're forcing new alliances to happen.
The enemy of my friend, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend mentality.
Well, it's very interesting to watch. Socialism, the rise of socialism is a direct response to the failures of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all of these clowns in Congress who dragged Trump through the mud. And they went after all this stuff and they could stick no landing. They couldn't take him out.
Can I disagree with you?
Hmm.
I think it was Obama.
Hmm.
They normalized Obama and he changed to this. I think it's AOC. They normalized AOC like she was something to.
She was the
a
young
beacon
Bernie
of-
Sanders.
young
Yeah.
beacon of hope. Yeah. Birthright citizen. I said this to Wendy this morning. Makes you wonder about Obama. Dad, Kenya. Mom, Hawaii.
Would you be surprised? No. Mm-mm. So Kelly Morgan sent us a really beautiful new testimonial from Morgane's Fitness. And I usually talk about her later on in the show. I'm not going to show you the picture of the young lady, but she's absolutely darling. And she says, I got a new testimony for you. Another stellar success story from a beautiful, hardworking, busy, badass woman. Thank you for trusting me with your journey, she says. And then this is what she writes. Time goes by, whether you're being mindful of your health or not. I made a choice to get back into the routine of lifting weights to support my health goals and to take care of my body in a way that supports longevity, body recomposition, bone health, and mental health. Kelly Morgan helped me rediscover a healthy routine that included a specific lifting routine, counting my macros, everything she puts in her mouth, and getting enough protein to support my goals with 90-day Ignite. My mindset changed. I feel better. Energy's improved. I feel like I win the day when I lift. She encouraged me as I grow stronger into a stronger version of me. I gained 1.5 pounds of muscle. I decreased my body fat percentage during the process. Thank you, Kelly, for all you do. It made a huge difference for me. MoreGainsFitness.com. You're invited to join in the 90-day Ignite Challenge. More Gains Fitness, MORGAINZ Fitness.com. Super exciting. 2-day convention on a Tuesday and a Wednesday in a shorter convention in presidential election years. But it's super important because Texas is expected to give Republicans a windfall of new House seats thanks to an aggressive redistricting plan this week. Ken Paxton still faces a stiff challenge from James Tallarico. They're neck and neck, but right now, the conventional polling suggests a Paxton win. So we'll see. We'll see. Historic midterm convention. They're calling it a Trumpapalooza. I think it's hilarious because it triggers the left. Anything that you put Trump's name on, they're just like, "Ah," and you're like,
I said he should have put his name on the algae.
yeah.
They'd have cleaned it up.
You realize, of course, that everything that he's doing would benefit you as well. But that's okay. That's all right.
Doc Wambach gave you $20. Says, Wendy, Sunday is my birthday. Might this former Army medic get a special wish for making one more trip around the sun?
You know what, Doc? Happy birthday. Of course. Happy birthday to you. That's exciting. And you're going to be on the 5th? Is that the 5th?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, happy birthday. How nice to be right around our nation's 250th birthday. That's exciting. Good for you.
Good for you for making it through Joe Biden's presidency.
I'm telling you what, the stuff that they put us through. My vision today is for the total birds. I don't know why that is. Does that make your eyes water when I do that? My son Bobby can't look at me do that because then his eyes pour with tears. He's like, and I'm like, really? So what do you think about Mehlat Kiros? I don't even care who she is. Like,
She's not American. She's Ethiopian.
She's an Ethiopian, came here with her folks when she was a little kid, and now she thinks that she knows. Okay.
Once again, I think we solve a lot of this.
She was 4 when the towers fell.
With the whole not dual citizenship. You either
have to choose. You got to choose. It's not a smorgasbord. You got to choose. And there is a list of over 30 socialists who have already won their primaries. Now, most are at the state level, but that's what gives rise to the jump to the big house, right?
You're going to see a lot of people be put to the test to sit there and say they're Democrats. They have to vote for these people. Are you? And they say they disagree with them.
These people, by and large, the socialists are anti-Jew. Anti-Jew.
Simple.
And there are 6 to 7 million registered Jewish Democrats. Why? Why? What are you getting from that? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Hey, if you're Jewish and you're a Democrat, I have to ask you why. Honestly, what are you getting today or ever from the Democrat Party? Used to be the party of the working class. It's not the party of the working class. It's the party of the elites. It's the party of the college educated who think they know better. There's a huge flip-flop going on in this country. And it's absolutely right. You know, pie in the sky ideas sound lovely until you actually are gainfully employed and you see what you get bent over to pay in taxes every pay period. If that doesn't wake you up and say, oh my gosh, and if there's one thing the Democrats love to do, it's take your money. They literally run on taking more of your money. And the Democrat Party, people in the Democrat Party are like, yeah, that resists Trump. I'm like, are you idiots? Are you honestly morons? Your party left the station a long time ago. Right? I'm down with fairness. I don't think anybody in this country wishes for an America that's unfair, that's especially punitive to one group or another. But by golly, we're a country of self-made individuals, not wealth redistribution. We're a country of innovation. Why do you think the freaking Chinese have been stealing our stuff for so many years? They've got like 1.5 billion people over there, and they've got to come over here to spy on our crap and steal it because we're the best place on freaking planet Earth. And only 8% of Democrats believe that is real. Yuri Beznikov? Yes. Spencer Pratt just put out something yesterday. There's no text to it. He wrote nothing. It was a video AI generated going around. Literally, it was like Yuri Bezmenov, former KGB guy, who talks about the slow steps towards full-blown communism and how long it takes. And the first phase could take 20 years. And then it creeps on, and then you start ratcheting it up. We're in the ratchet up part. This isn't just an idea. This is the chickens coming home to roost. This is the speed up phase. And Spencer Pratt puts up a video of just like this camera or like Yuri Bezmenov's face moving. So you see his face, his profile, and then he's full on you. And it's like, that speaks volumes. I know exactly what Spencer Pratt is saying. It's not coming. It's here. It's here. And the Democrats have nobody to blame but themselves. When you become tunnel vision focused on one person, and by the way, that's called deranged. That's pathological. That's diagnosable. That's an affliction. When you become singularly focused on one dude, who you've been spoon-fed a steady diet so that you eat it up and digest it, and you spurt out all of the hatred and vile things about this guy. You stop doing anything good that you promised to do. Democrats pretend they're for the little guy. System is broken. The rich keep getting richer. They don't pay their fair share. Well, you know, if your rich left you, you'd be screwed. They pay the majority of the taxes. They create the majority of the jobs. They create the majority of the innovation that makes this the best place on planet Earth. And with Knives Out, Democrats go after them hook, line, and sinker every single day. And now these billionaires and millionaires are leaving our blue cities. And you're going to have Gotham City in a smattering of blue states around the country and an exodus out. You're not just talking about the collapse of the Democrat Party. You're talking about the collapse of states that have been made sanctuaries of their suck. States where our sons and daughters die. And the Democrats who say they care shut the door and walk away. You're going to hear that coming up. Let's talk about this two-term Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser, who just knocked out three-term Democrat Senator Michael Bennet in Colorado. Michael Bennet was a pure Democrat. He voted along party lines. He voted Democrat. He was a staunch defender of the Democrat Party. He's not staunch enough. He's not radical enough. He doesn't resist enough. He's not angry enough. That's what this group of youngsters, these socialists, want. Here's NBC with the story. Colorado AG Phil Weiser wins Democratic primary for governor over Senator Michael Bennet. And it really wasn't close. 80% of the vote in last night, I saw he was already called, he already beat him by 10 points. Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser has won the state's Democratic primary for governor, upsetting Senator Michael Bennet after a campaign that centered on who would be more effective in standing up to President Donald Trump. Stand up to what? Lower taxes? Closed borders? Deporting people who broke the law to come here, who now the Supreme Court have given license to spawn endlessly and put you on the freaking hook for it? Do these people not understand how moronic they are? No, they don't, because this is the grooming. This is it. While both candidates have been long mainstays in Colorado Democratic politics, Weiser entered the race as the underdog. His victory signals that his anti-establishment message broke through in an environment in which Democrats across the country have expressed frustration with the status quo, including in their own party. Look, if you're a Democrat and you've worked in any capacity with Republicans to do things because that's how crap gets done in Congress, you're on the chopping block. I got to tell you, you're not safe. And if you're a Jew, holy moly, what is it, 20 Jewish members of Congress? You don't think the socialist pro-Palestinian knives are out for you? There's no placating Jews. It's from the river to the sea. Say what? And the Jewish folks out there are feeling it. Where are they going to go for help? To whom will they turn? President Trump, meantime, is carving out rhinos in the Republican Party. Socialists and people who are extremely anti-Trump are taking out the moderate Democrats. That's the Civil War. Meantime, you've got a one-man wrecking crew on our side. It's Donald Trump. He touches something, that person flies to the finish line. He goes against somebody and they crumble and fall, regardless of their status. He's carving out rhinos like Bill Cassidy, Tom Tillis, John Cornyn, Thomas Massey. Brad Raffensperger wanted to become Georgia governor. Yeah, sorry, buddy. 5 Indiana state Republicans lost re-election to Trump-backed challengers. A summary of the Trump primary record so far. Incumbents rarely lose when he endorses them, and they rarely win when he endorses someone else. This is a DSA video I found. We've cut it in 2. It's on socialism coming to Florida and why 2-term Democrat Congressman Jared Moskowitz is on high alert. A Jew. Listen.
DSA just nationally endorsed Oliver Larkin, who's challenging Jared Moskowitz in Florida's 23rd congressional district. Oliver Larkin got his start in politics when he heard about Bernie Sanders and quit his job as a line cook to go volunteer on the campaign. From that Bernie Sanders era, DSA has built the model of everyday people stepping up to change the balance of power by building powerful groups of organized people. In South Florida, 4 DSA chapters are putting their efforts behind Oliver Larkin. The only way to beat Moskowitz's billionaire money is the kind of mass voter contact effort that we build with DSA candidates like Zoran Mamdani, where regular people come to see themselves as organizers, and we build an army of door knockers. And we know that our army of door knockers won't just show up for any old corporate Democrat, even ones that parrot our talking points. We support candidates who are democratic socialists who build the movement with us, and we build that power together. If you want to help Oliver win another seat for socialists in Congress, share this video, donate at the fundraising link in our bio, and join DSA.
Did you hear the most important part of that? I want you to hear it again, because this is for you, Democrat incumbents. They're coming for you.
And we know that our army of door knockers won't just show up for any old corporate Democrat, even ones that parrot our talking points. We support candidates who are democratic socialists who build the movement with us.
Our army of door knockers won't show up for just any old corporate Democrat. Even those that parrot our talking points. Wow. Oliver Larkin supports green climate everything, a $25 minimum wage, because that's working so swimmingly in California. No PAC money, Medicare for all, including 20 million immigrants. Right? Who pays for that? You do. He's a self-described community organizer, and he's taking on Jared Moskowitz. Meantime, in Missouri, former Rep. Cori Bush, who is a Democrat Socialist of America endorsed candidate, is mounting a comeback in the Democratic primary August 4th against incumbent Democrat Representative Wesley Bell. These people have newfound grit. They have a little fire now in the stove. And they're ready to crank up the heat, ladies and gentlemen. And think about this. Over 30 socialists have already won primaries this year. If we know anything about the Democratic Party, they're fantastic at organizing and getting everybody to say the same things, but they're horrible reactionaries. Candidates endorsed by the Democratic Socialists of America have scored victories in 35 elections so far this year, including upsets against entrenched incumbents. They've backed 150 candidates this cycle. 150. 35 already have advanced, 34 have lost. It's just gearing up, guys. And the Democrats know, we've created a monster. Well, talking about that, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I want you to pay close attention to the language and how polling affects the language. There was a poll out this week. Majority of Americans don't support socialism, right? They support capitalism. So listen to how the Democrat socialists are trying to softly rebrand themselves, be a little bit more palatable. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Well, think if you're a Democrat, right? What are they talking about? Affordability.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it doesn't matter how cheap something is, if they're taking more of your tax money, they're taking more out of your paycheck. It doesn't matter what it costs the store; you still can't afford it. So it's just a stupid logic.
All right. I've been taking one every single night for probably the last 2 weeks. REM sleep, healthycell.com. I want to read you this testimonial by Glow. Glow wrote this to me during an election. She goes, Wendy, thank God for REM sleep by Healthy Cell. Thanks to Tuesday's election here in Virginia, I had a very hard time falling asleep. Finally, at about 1:30 a.m., I decided to take my REM sleep. I only took about half, because I didn't, it was so late and I didn't know if it was going to make me just zonk out and be, unresponsive. She's like, so I fell asleep within 15 minutes. I was out. I slept for the rest of the night. That's not how this works. Glow, I appreciate that. You don't have to ration it. This isn't going to knock you out like NyQuil and make you feel like a zombie the next day. It's got magnesium. It's got ingredients that are natural that we know will put you to sleep, allow you to turn off your mind, go to sleep, and stay asleep. And if you wake up, you'll fall back asleep. And then best of all, when you wake up, you don't feel like you got hit by a Mack truck. Healthycell.com. Literally, it's in the little pouch, squirted into your mouth. The easiest way to get these nutrients absorbed into your bloodstream down to the cellular level. Hence, healthycell.com/Wendy. I love this company. I take a calm mood now every day and a REM sleep. I don't lie to you. It's the real deal. And I'm not going to stop. They could call me tomorrow and be like, yeah, we really don't, nobody's really buying our stuff from you, so we're going to stop it. And I'd be like, okay, but can I have 2 more boxes before you fire me? Because I'll take them. The language is interesting. We're also going to talk about that hearing with Jessica, is it Gorman? Sheridan's mom, who was killed in Chicago by an illegal. Chicago? Mm-hmm. Just awful. Just, I don't think you have to be a mom.
Oh, God. No.
You have to have a beating heart to just lose it when you hear what she talks about. What are we doing?
I don't understand the Jewish people who vote Democrat. And I mean, there's literally nothing they have in their platform for you. And watching Dan Goldman, I thought Dan Goldman was going to be in that seat till he decided to retire. And they bounced him.
They're the ones who say they don't hate anyone, right? No, we're just a big tent. We like everybody, just not Jews. That's scary. It's super scary.
And right on the tail of Democrat socialists, Islamists. Call me xenophobic or whatever that word is. They don't lie to you. They tell you exactly what they want.
Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program, wendybellradio.com, if you'd like to join our live video stream. I love seeing you guys in the chat. We interact with you during commercial breaks, and you're welcome to join us. I hope you do. So pay close attention to the language and how polling affects words that are used to describe what's going on. On the heels of this Gallup poll earlier this month suggesting, or late last month suggesting, Americans remain more negative than positive towards socialism, with little movement in these attitudes over time, Politico dropped this yesterday. There's a name change. Now, they say it quietly, and you have to read between the lines, be up at 30,000 feet to pay attention to the nuance. They've got to sell this in some way to a broader range of people. Nowhere has socialism worked. Nowhere is a communist dictatorship of a country, one that leads the residents to anything other than destitution and despair. I mean, honestly, there's no freedom. There's no access. There's no stuff for the minions. That's not how it works. So let's talk about this story from Politico. Let me read this. Democratic socialist Milat Kiros. I honestly don't care if I pronounce these people's name right. She's 29, toppling a 30-year incumbent to win the Colorado House primary. But it's in the verbiage. that I find it also very interesting. I lost my glasses. Oh, here they go. Democrat socialist Milad Kiros defeated 15-term Colorado rep Diana DeGette, whatever, Tuesday, delivering one of the biggest shocks of the Democratic primary season amid a growing streak of wins for the insurgent left. It's a victory that echoes Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's stunning 2018 upset over 10-term incumbent Joe Crowley in New York and delivers Democratic socialists fresh momentum. DeGette's loss after Brock, would you find out how to pronounce that for me while I'm speaking? After representing the district since 1997. See, Trump is carving out rhinos, reshaping the Republican Party. The socialists are doing it on the left. Well, it seemed unthinkable in a state just months ago. But Kiros rode the same anti-incumbent wave that swept through New York's Democratic primaries last week, where Reps Adriano Espaillat and Dan Goldman were ousted, blah, blah, blah. The defeat is stunning, a stunning one for the Democratic establishment. But it's very interesting the words they use here. They're turning the phrase Democratic socialist now to a justice Democrat, rather. Justice Democrat. Really? So 57% of this Gallup poll respondents say they have a negative view of socialism. Okay. Well, we're not going to change who we are. We're just going to change how it's wrapped. And we're not Democratic socialists. We're now going to be something different. Justice Democrats. Yeah, we want justice. We're so tired of dealing with Trump. Trump and all he's doing. Trump only cares about Trump. Trump's a billionaire. We hate billionaires. Pay your fair share. We want justice. What does that even mean? Doesn't matter because it is a dog whistle. It's a dog whistle to anybody who was brought up in the COVID era as a high schooler or a college student who was told, no, just stay calm. Don't leave. Don't go home. I mean, don't leave your home. Don't try. Don't get a job. Don't think outside the box. Don't show your work. You don't have to. You're a victim. You're a victim of the system. Instead of going out and finding meaningful employment, become a community organizer. Become an activist. Join our party. There's money in it to be made. And damn good money, ladies and gentlemen. Some of these activists make upwards, if not more than 6 figures a year. And who's bankrolling all of these efforts? The very people that your Democratic or Justice Democrats are alleging to fight back against. Billionaires. Justice Democrats. So what happens next? Where does the Democratic Party go? Because right now they got to take the gas off of hating Trump and fighting Trump and resisting all of these horrible things that he's doing that are putting America on path for a resurgence, a golden age, a new enlightenment, if you will, a new chapter for the next 250 years. They got to worry about the toddlers who didn't get spanked. The toddlers who were given cell phones when they started to whine. Just keep yourself busy with this. Those toddlers have grown up, ladies and gentlemen. And they're coming for blood. Not Trump's. Democrats. When we come back, hour number 2, Democrats are in fact in for a fight for their political survival. Oh yeah, next. How do I say that girl's name, that woman's name?
DeGette.
DeGette? Is it DeGette?
That's what the Google machine says.
All right. Oh, by the way, I have very little time for Scott Wiener. I got roughed up. People don't like me because I'm a Jew. And I went to a transgender rally and they were calling me all these terrible names. And then what did he just do? Scott Wiener just helped defeat a bill that would have blocked registered sex offenders from holding public office.
That just tells me to look at his computer.
He says it's dangerous because the crimes aren't a huge deal and that some people just have flaws. Okay. Freaks, geeks, socialists, pedophiles, MAP, minor attracted persons. Remember, got to change it. It's not a pedophile. It's a minor attracted person. That makes it better. It wasn't a vaccine. It was a blah, blah, blah. Remember how they had to change all of the words? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to see my father on Friday. I leave after the show tomorrow, so we are off for Friday. So Rumble won't have a show, but on the radio, Brock worked yesterday at home and put together a best of show so the radio stations can play it. Thank you for that, Brock. But when I travel, there are a few things I take with me. First of all, I absolutely take Healthy Cell. I absolutely take REM sleep. I'm absolutely taking my, not focus and recall, my calm mood. Because we're going to be going through my mom's closet and doing stuff. And it's going to take a little bit of tempering, right? Like to calm it down. I'm taking this, taking my Dr. Gundry. I'm taking my water jug, right? My Hydro Flask. And this is what I'm going to use so that Dad and I can work. It's delicious watermelon lemonade. Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds drinking it. And he's like, this isn't some scam. I'm not some con artist. This isn't like snake oil. This is real. This is real. And he's seen personally thousands of people lose upwards of 50, 70, 80 pounds. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. That's how you find it. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. So I'm taking that. I'm taking Healthy Cell and I'm taking Blood Flow 7. I literally have already packed it. Little baggie, right?
To get.
Huh?
To get.
To get.
To get.
I'm embarrassed that I didn't check that in advance. And I do have that Milos's, whatever her name is. Kiros. I do have a phonetic pronunciation for her, but to be perfectly honest with you, I don't care. So that's terrible. I should be nicer than that. How are you guys? What's going on out there? Tomorrow we're going to have to do Wellness Company.
Okay.
So that's the last one we'll have to do. Okay. I have a minute to do it, and I don't think she's watching, but she will be receiving this soon. So I made chicken last night. Joe inadvertently, we like the thin sliced chicken from Sam's. He ended up getting the big fat chicken breasts. And he made a mistake, and he's like, oh man, that's terrible. And I'm like, no, it's not. Let me just get out my Chef IQ. Literally, it was a big piece. And I was like, let me get out the Chef IQ and we'll cook this instead. So it literally takes minutes to pair your phone with a device. So you push this button and it talks to you. It's like ding, da, ding, ding, ding. And then you take your phone and you're like, and they talk to each other. And then you open up the app and it says, okay, choose which probe you want. I'll take the 250. I'll take the 0 of the 250, right? And it says, what are you cooking? And I said chicken breast. And it said, where are you cooking it? And I said the oven. It said, okay, preheat the oven to 350, season your chicken as you wish and put this in the fattest part of it like that. And I'm like, okay, up until this blue mark. Okay. I can do that. And it said, okay, put it in the oven. And once we detect the heat on the probe, cooking will begin. We'll tell you, and then you can hit start. So it said, bing, I can detect heat. So I hit start. Perfect. I do not like watery, juicy chicken. Kind of skeeves me out. It makes me feel like it's a salmonella. Blah, blah, blah. Perfection. This is the real deal. And this is the 250th edition. ChefIQ.com, promo code Wendy, 40% off through tomorrow. Okay? Do yourself a favor. Drops the price down $80, $120. What a wonderful gift for you or somebody that you love. I keep losing all the little stars. Oh, sorry, sweetie bug. They put little red, white, and blue stars in there. So cute. This is it. ChefIQ.com. Real deal, real company, really successful, helps you in the kitchen. Oh my. You're going to love them. All right, let's see. What I looked, Rumble was not putting us in any kind of screen.
Question: are you using Thomas?
I will use Thomas. I beg your pardon. Continue watching. Yes, we're not in any kind of a box.
I think we were.
Were we? I didn't see it. Yeah, we'll start with that. We'll start with that. We'll start with a little.
We were in a box. Now we're just on the.
We were in a box?
Yeah. Now, if you just click on editor's picks page.
Oh, okay.
We're there, but not on the front page.
You guys, we were number 7 yesterday. You did a great job. I'm so grateful. So grateful. Let's see. Where were we? It's kind of fun. We enjoy these reindeer games. We were number 6. We have 96,121 followers. We are roughly 4,000 followers away from hitting what we want, and that's 100,000. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, that's the Rumble button. That's awesome. Thank you. But then the button next to it that says follow. If you click that, if you haven't already followed us, don't worry. We're not going to spam you. We're not going to bug you. You're going to get a little bing. They're live. That's it. And who wouldn't want to see this? Right? How hot is it outside, Brock?
91.
This hair is going back in about 15 minutes.
Oh, lasted longer than I thought.
What? The down hair?
Yeah, I thought it would have been down earlier or up earlier.
It gets kind of in the way.
Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not. Which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They can't separate you from Trump. And more importantly, they can't separate you from the ideas. They can't separate you from MAGA. They can't separate you from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio Program. Hour number 2 is live and on the clock. You know, Justice Clarence Thomas, who is one of my heroes, and probably if you're a conservative, if you love America the way I do, he's a favorite of yours as well. And yesterday dropped a truth that really every American needs to hear. This idea of progressivism. Think about that, progress. They use these words on purpose. It's not just some harmless idea. It's a direct assault on the very soul of this country. It wants to replace God-given rights with government-granted privileges. It demands that we become weak and subservient and dependent. That is not who Americans are. That's not the Americans that the Europeans are seeing when they're here for the World Cup. One of these things is not like the other, and you're being sold a bill of bunk. That's the story. Here is Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas blasting progressives as a threat to America.
Progressivism seeks to replace the basic premises of the Declaration of Independence and hence our form of government. It holds that our rights and our dignities come not from God, but from government. It requires of the people a subservience and weakness incompatible with a constitution premised on the transcendent origin of our rights.
Wow. Yes, a weakness and a subservience. He couldn't have said it any better. And, you know, people are catching on to this, the very people who created it. And it's interesting to watch. Donnie Deutsch. This guy is an MSNBC regular, if I'm not mistaken. He's an author. He's a leftist. He's a Trump hater. He's always on hating Trump. And he has a warning now. It's almost like, wow, the Acme frying pan has finally hit these people in the face to see what monster they've created. Here's Donnie Deutsch.
Hey, Democrats, you're getting suckered. You're getting pulled into this whole socialism thing, this whole democratic socialism thing. And you see where the energy and the juices, and I don't think it's just New York. I think it's where the passion and the sexiness in the party is, because we're going to blow everything up. It's a loser in a general election. Understand that. You're getting sucked in. Here's basically why it's happening. And basically, they're running on stuff that Democrats want, and it's going to be a loser in the general elections. 70% say socialism is a good thing. Losing proposition. 70% are against Israel. This is their fundamental platform. Just, you know, on Israel and socialism for everybody. Ain't gonna fly. And by the way, here's what you know about the DSA and the working people. Do you know that 85% are white, 85% have gone to college, 35% have gone to grad school? So they're just smug white kids who've had everything handed to them, and they just don't understand it. They're just going to blow it all up, because that's what you do. You blow things up. And the DSA, if you look at what's on their platform, it's everything from open borders, that's right, open borders, to letting illegal immigrants vote, to making private companies public, letting criminals vote, everything. Oh, and don't kid yourself. The Republicans are going to brand the entire Democratic Party with these new faces, with Chevalier and Valdez. The last cycles you always saw Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib. Well, now they're doubling down. And whether you like it or not, that's what the Republicans are going to present as the Democratic Party. So when you look at who's behind it and what they have to say, it's not going to win in a general election, period. Get that through your dumb Democratic skulls.
Wow. That's pretty serious. And, you know, you can't help but notice these socialist candidates, these Justice Democrats now, and their minions are most assuredly coming after Jews. Morning Joe guest, Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt says that is exactly what happened to California State Senator Scott Wiener when he was attacked over the weekend at a trans rally. Now, I dislike everything about Scott Wiener, but I don't think that you should get up in somebody's face and you should push them and you should threaten them physically and threaten their lives. In no world that I live in is that acceptable. That's exactly what happened. But this gentleman, Jonathan Greenblatt, says the Democrat Party has a serious problem. It's beyond the socialism. It's called anti-Semitism. Listen.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Mika. I think Scott Wiener's a brave, brave man. I don't agree with Scott Wiener on every policy. I don't think Israel committed genocide in Gaza, but he does. And he called it a civilian disaster. And he's spoken out strongly and repeatedly about the Israeli government. And yet the sin that he committed in going to that trans rally was he's Jewish. It's the same sin that Dan Goldman committed. Congressman Dan Goldman, who was at a coffee shop in Brooklyn last weekend, he had the sin of bringing his 7-year-old daughter into the coffee shop to get a cup of coffee so she could also use the bathroom. And then he was harassed and humiliated online. This is someone else who's spoken out repeatedly against the Israeli government, let alone sponsored Medicare for All and the Green New Deal and was the lead prosecutor in the first Trump impeachment case. But what was Dan Goldman's sin? Like Scott Wiener's sin? Dan is Jewish. Look, the Democratic Party, and as you know, I worked in the Obama White House. I worked in the Clinton White House. The Democratic Party has an anti-Semitism problem, and I can define it in 3 letters: the DSA.
Wow. You know, I live a half of a mile from the Tree of Life Synagogue, where in October of 2018, a lunatic with an arsenal of firearms hosed down dozens of people and killed 11 of them inside a synagogue. There is not a time I drive by that building, and I drive by almost every day, that I don't think about that. This isn't just a difference of opinion. We're giving license to mental illness, and it's scary. And Greenblatt continues. He's like, look, these DSA activists, they're not Democrats. They're obsessed with hating Jewish people.
The DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, they should call it, discrimination and stereotyping and anti-Semitism. And I say that because we see this as the common thread that seems to link this party and their activists. They're not Democrats, but an obsession with the Jewish state seems to be the common denominator when you look at these candidates. Now, look, I want to be super clear. There's problems with anti-Semitism on the right as well. I'm not suggesting this is only a problem on the left, but we see this again and again and again. We see this in these congressional races last week. And by the way, we're seeing it right here in the city of New York with the largest Jewish population in the world. And we can talk about Mayor Mamdani if you like, because he has been gaslighting our community for years, saying he believes in protecting the Jewish people, but then refusing to do so in ways that all other normal politicians in the past have done. So yeah, Mika, you put it well. We have a problem. The Democratic Party has an anti-Semitism problem. It is the DSA, and it needs to deal with this in order to make its Jewish, members and Americans across the country feel safe.
They don't care about you, bro. Sorry. They don't care. You're waking up to this now. 6 to 7 million Jewish Democrats are having the epiphany that millions of black voters had over the last several years. This awakening. They elected the first black president. Why didn't they get their Obama phones? Where's my Obama money? What they got was Section 8 housing. That's what they got. They didn't get opportunity. They didn't get jobs. They weren't trained. There was no hope and change. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. There was a train, as there always is. Now, he talks about both sides-ism, Jonathan Greenblatt did. That there's anti-Semitism on both sides, left and right. I challenge you, where is the anti-Semitism, save Nick Fuentes, on the right? He alleges that the Jews are responsible for owning basically and controlling everything. Banking, they can control the law firms, the accountants' practices, they own medicine, the Jews own media, and there's ire with that. Is that a pervasive, prevailing ideology among conservatives? No. We're kind of like, stay the hell away from us. Let us do what we want to do, and don't thrust your stuff down our throats and force us to pay for it under the guise of the greater good. 6 to 7 million Jews are going to have a really interesting decision come November. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's go back in time when the Democrats sounded a lot more sane. We're going to take you in the Wayback Machine to 1993, when Democrats were not all about birthright citizenship. They were the ones leading the charge against it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
I'd like to know who that guy's going to vote for.
Jonathan Greenblatt.
Yeah.
He's very effective. Brings up excellent points. I agree with what he's saying. But it's like, how many kids born into poverty, how much garbage, handout stuff doesn't move the needle? You have generational problems created by the Democratic Party. And then you had Trump, who was like, hey, what do you have to lose? And then you started seeing this this move of black men, primarily black men, and then sort of followed by black working men, not college educated. They haven't gotten the poison of the indoctrination closet. They look at their paycheck. They know what freaking FICA is. And Trump spoke to them and he's like, what do you have to lose? I believe in bringing your costs down. I believe in bringing in, opportunity. I believe in all of this stuff. And I believe in your sons and daughters being the next generation of excellence. All right. What is he doing?
Here's why Jews can vote for conservative. Because we want our religion left alone too.
Yeah. I see your synagogue. Bless you. Do you know the synagogues in my neighborhood all have physical barriers in front and they have armed security? Why? Because you're not safe if you're a Jew in America. That's freaking disgusting. Let me tell you about Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. I wish you could just take out a hammer and nails and figure out how to fix some of these ugly problems in America. But I can tell you the piece that I had the other day during our biblical Sunday deluge, I never once thought about it leaking in my house. Never once. I never once thought that I'd go down into the basement and step into water, because I've done that. And I did it with socks on. Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. If you live in Pittsburgh, go to IrelandContracting.com. Have one of their guys come out and give you an estimate. It's good for a year. It's good for a year. They're honest people. And they don't just do windows and siding and roofing and gutters and downspouts and soffit and fascia. They put in decks. They put in beautiful decks. Just fabulous. Fabulous. Love them. Oh, I also found something. I got a mailer from Texas Bullion Exchange yesterday. And I was like, what's this? We'll talk about it here in just a minute. Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com.
It's now 92 degrees.
I got to go home and water like a son of a gun.
I got to fire up the grill. That's hard.
In the heat. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are
you don't want to stand.
Well, that's why you have Chef IQ.
I'd use it.
I'm telling you, on chicken, it was amazing. Joe was sitting there watching me and he's like, what's it doing? And it was counting down how long it needed to rest before I could cut the chicken. He's like, it's down to 122 degrees. And I'm like, no, it's got 1 minute and 22 seconds left of resting before I can cut it. He's like, it's that specific. And I'm like, it's that specific.
Yeah, we do.
I made dinner for his parents last night because my mother-in-law just had a big surgery. And so I was putting together this dinner for them and it was perfect.
It's making you look good.
It is making, that's the beauty of Chef IQ. People are like, how you doing?
I used it on a steak the other night. It came out perfect.
It's always perfect. You don't have to guess. You don't have to guess. I love that. I have a lot to get to in this segment, and so I'm going to blast through it, but it's important. This is why I kind of got behind today. I love you guys, by the way. Remember, 1993, I had just graduated college the year before. I'm from California. She was my senator, Dianne Feinstein, 1993. Talking then, what is that, 23 years, 33 years rather? Talking about birthright citizenship. What changed for Democrats whose 3 liberal Supreme Court justices want everyone and anyone to be a citizen? Here's Dianne Feinstein. Listen.
Should you have a system where people can come to this country, even if they're well-to-do, get on Medicaid and give birth to a baby and then go back? The answer is no. And we know that Medicaid laws are being used and abused to do just this. in the state of California. I'd like to see that stopped. About 13% of the California prison population, costing close to $300 million a year, are illegal aliens. I've had judges in Los Angeles and Orange County tell me 1/2 of their criminal dockets are illegal aliens. Presently, a convicted illegal alien has the option of serving their sentence in California or being returned to their country of origin. I think that option ought to be removed.
What's changed? Nancy Pelosi in 2005, right? So 21 years ago, claiming at the time that the Bush administration's policies were weakening border protections. When was it that a Democrat spoke as this?
Broken borders. That's an oxymoron, something we can't tolerate. Borders, of their nature, our definition as a nation and our protection as a country. Broken borders, they don't exist. We can't tolerate them. So let's say from the start that we all in this body, and I know I can speak very firmly for the Democrats, support strong border control, and it must be part, and the first part, of any comprehensive immigration reform.
Got nowhere with that, Nance. Why didn't Democrats help President Trump build the wall in his first term? Because that's what he was going for. How many Americans would still be alive today if Democrats hadn't freaking stopped him? During Trump's first term, nearly all congressional Democrats uniformly and repeatedly rejected his requests for border wall funding. You remember, July 2017, House vote to spend a paltry $1.57 billion on a down payment for the wall. 186 Democrats voted no. Why? Only 5 House Democrats broke ranks to vote in favor of it. Kyrsten Sinema, one of them. Then came the U.S. Senate blockade. Democrats utilizing the 60-vote filibuster threshold to uniformly block Trump's initial wall requests from advancing, leading to a complete stalemate that ultimately ended in a 35-day partial government shutdown starting in late 2018. Resist Trump, even if it means it's crazy. Trump tried to go around Congress entirely by declaring a national emergency to divert military construction funds to the wall. This led to further legal and legislative pushback, including an overwhelming 228 House Democrats and 47 Senate Democrats, joined by several Republicans, voting in 2019 to officially terminate his emergency resolution, his emergency declaration. Which Republicans voted to terminate Trump's emergency declaration to fund the wall? 12 Senate Republicans: Lamar Alexander, Roy Blunt, Susan Collins, Mike Lee, Jerry Moran, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Rob Portman, Mitt Romney, Marco Rubio, Pat Toomey, Roger Wicker. House Republicans: Justin Amash, Brian Fitzpatrick, Mike Gallagher, Jamie Herrera Butler, Will Hurd, Dusty Johnson, Thomas Massey, Kathy McMorris Rogers, Francis Rooney, Jim Sensenbrenner, Elise Stefanik, Fred Upton, and Greg Walden. How many of those are still in office? 7. Susan Collins. These are just the senators. No, this is Congress. Susan Collins, Mike Lee, Jerry Moran, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Roger Wicker, and Brian Fitzpatrick. What say you, 7? 7 Republicans who did not give the president what he needed to secure our borders. Because what came next was an invasion. It was an alien invasion. Don't you worry about extraterrestrials. Don't you worry about biologics and spacecraft that have crashed. Don't worry about hybrid breeding programs of just weird, epic nature. Remember the people who let this invasion from around the world happen. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk birth tourism. Just got a nice shot in the arm thanks to Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, and John Roberts. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So I get this in the mail yesterday from Texas Bullion Exchange. I'm like, what's this? Protect the value of your gold and get up to $21,000 in bonus silver. in our principal protection program. See, they say to me it's 6%. Here it says 21 grand. 21 grand in free silver. Now, sure, you're going to be opening up a gold-backed IRA or something that's monstrous. You have to buy. You've got to have money to do this, of course. But if you do, and I know some of you do, 855-927-5557. Okay? Wow. And then there's this, America's 250th. They're dropping a coin, an historic coin at an historic price. They're only making 25,000 of these. Hey, Froggy, I think you should buy one for me. It's only gold. So I'm sure it's only going to be like $5,000. But this is what it looks like. It's a Liberty Bell Series Q. Let me see. Hold on. My eyes are for poop today. So sorry. It's a semi-Q date 7076 to 2026. It's a West Point mint mark, whatever that means. This is what it looks like. Look at that. 2,500 of them. Now, don't call that number. You want to call my number, 855-927-5557, wendylovesgold.com. Wendy Loves 250th anniversary coin gold. Big time. Anybody want to be my sugar daddy? It's a little aggressive, but I think it's great. 225,000 of those. They'll sell out. I'd love you guys to get them, though. wendylovesgold.com. All right. Very fussy today. I feel like we're the beach ball on the wave again. Like we're just bobbing along, right, on the ocean surface. It's kind of up and down and whatever, and we don't have control, and here comes the wind, and it's going to blow us a little further. Oh, here comes a wave. But it's like we're forced to sit through and watch this. You don't think Trump would go out there and be like, it's the age of a new golden enlightenment. This is the beginning of something major if he didn't know. It was the beginning of something major. If he didn't believe that all of this BS that we're going through was not insurmountable. I feel that way. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think that he absolutely knows what's coming, and he drops breadcrumbs to let you know how it's coming. That's how I see it. Let's see how you guys are doing. I want to ask you guys a question. What do I want to ask you? 1.7. Can we get to 2? Can we get 300 people maybe to click that? I would so appreciate it because that's a really crappy number. What's a good question we want to ask? I believe that Jared Moskowitz is going to go down.
I do too.
I do believe. Am I off? Do you guys think I'm off in the comments section? Do you see the all-out anti-Semitism in this pro-Palestinian, like river to the sea mumbo jumbo that should scare every freaking Jewish American? I do. I grew up with all Jewish friends. All Jewish friends. I never really paid attention. I didn't really know the difference.
Did you care? That's the thing. Who cares?
It's same like growing up in a black neighborhood. You would, whatever. It's whatever.
Your reality.
It's your reality. And they want you to believe that your reality and somehow is wrong, or that you're a bad person because of it, or you're a victim of something. And it's like, I didn't discriminate against anybody. We played together. What are you talking about? I was pissed on Tuesday when they all went to freaking Hebrew school. Why can't I go? Well, Wendy, you're not a Jew. Okay. When are they coming home? They'd be gone for like 4 hours. I'm like, wow, how much are you learning at this Hebrew school? Apparently a lot. For the big bar and bat mitzvahs. I don't know. I just don't look at people like that. That's what's so hilarious about being called a racist. I'm like, right. Okay. Okay. Whatever floats your boat.
Desensitized. That's the thing. It's okay. It's okay to be anti-Semitic. It's okay.
It's gross. It's gross. Whatever. People are gross. Almost as gross as my lipstick. How's that? It's so gross. But I'm an addict. I have to have it. So kind of like my coffee. You guys get to see me at my weakest. Oh, hell, who am I kidding? I cry in front of you people. and have many, many times.
You cry, swear. In front of them? Yeah.
Maybe on Sundays every now and again.
You do it here. You give them the double barrel.
That's okay. That's just my inner jazz hands.
You put on makeup.
Yes, I do. I'm a woman, damn it. And I'm afflicted
roar.
by it. Huh?
You're a woman. Hear you roar.
I never understood what that meant. It's just dumb. Feminists have ruined this world. Like, what do we have? What do people have that other people don't have? What can you do in this country as one person and you can't? What are trans rights? What are transgender rights? To play in other people's sports? What's your right? People who are like, I believe trans kids. I'm like, I don't care. I don't have a trans kid. You do you. If you're okay with that, I will pray for you. Well, attention, all ye pregnant women, or who wish to have a baby so they can then have all of the benefits of being an American citizen. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. It's interesting to pay attention to the ire, specifically for Amy Coney Barrett. I think everybody knows that John Roberts is a figurehead. John Roberts strikes me as the guy who's Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in The Godfather, who wakes up with the horse head in his bed. Like he touched the wrong buttons, fiddled with the wrong people, and then was given an offer he apparently cannot refuse. You will do our bidding. You are co-opted. You are corrupt. And whatever the dirt is on John Roberts, I know it's there because that dude is not conservative, period. He's not. He doesn't rule in our favor. He doesn't espouse the values that we have. And his interpretation of the Constitution to me is like, say what? And this ruling on birth tourism, or it's on birthright citizenship, I should say, that these conservative so-called justices joined the liberals and ruled 6-3 that basically anybody and his brother of birthing age can come over here and just have a baby. And the baby's an American citizen. And the baby at 18 is entitled to have, not even at 18, baby here is entitled to have every single benefit of an American citizen. Welfare, Medicare, not Medicare, but healthcare, all of the welfare benefits. And that money, by the way, can go bounce back to the homeland. So anybody out there who's like, our costs, we have... I don't have enough money. Everything's so expensive. We need to. This is the sort of stuff that creates the problem. This is that bucket being dropped down into the well of money that is running dry as everybody feels the squeeze. So it's time to cross the border so you can birth the most precious prize on planet Earth. That would be a U.S. citizen that the rest of us get to pay for life. Thank you, Amy. Well, you know what? Author and senior fellow at the Hoover Institution, Peter Schweizer. He was on with Will Cain yesterday, and he's talking about what this decision from the Supreme Court does, and this Manchurian generation with China. They have been birthing a new generation of the Chinese, quote, Americans here in America for the past 15 years. I didn't realize the problem was this bad. You got to listen to this.
I think a lot of people assume that, this is people slipping across the border. This is a student who happens to be here and gives birth. China has created up a massive way of manufacturing U.S. citizens. So what do I mean? You have birth tourism in China, whereby a couple, the mother will come to the United States, she'll give birth, the child will be given U.S. citizenship because they were born here. They will travel back to China, and the child will be raised in Chinese Communist Party schools, in that ecosystem. And when they turn 18, that child will have the rights of every other U.S. citizen. They're going to be able to vote in elections, donate to political campaigns, apply for U.S. government jobs. And the question's been, what is the scale here?
That's a great question, but at just face value, if we just think about that. I've been pregnant 5 times. I miscarried once, and I had 5 babies, one set of twins. Can you imagine if I was overseas, maybe I was in Russia for whatever reason, and lo and behold, I gave birth on Russian soil. Do you think the Russian government would be like, That is a Russian baby. And that baby gets all of the perks and the benefits of being a Russian. And you can be here, you can go home, come back, do whatever you want. We claim that as our prize. No way. In what world? In what world would you go to another country and expect to be able to vote in their elections? Well, I'm going to go visit Sweden, and I'm going to work my way in here. I'm going to cast a ballot in their election. Well, that's what they do here in America. I'm tired of being everybody's doormat and everybody's cash cow. And it's all on the backs of we the people, which, by the way, gave birth to the DSA, these progressive socialists, because they're like, where's all the money? Look at the Democrats. Schweitzer continues, how many of these anchor babies have actually been born here just from China? He's like, look, we pretty much have no freaking clue. But then he says, you might want to sit down for what I'm about to drop on you. Oh, sit down, you should.
Our federal government has no idea, Will, because we don't track that information. On a birth certificate, it does not list the nationality of the parents. But the Chinese government has looked at this, and the Chinese government has encouraged this. Beginning in 2011, they were running articles in the People's Daily telling members of the CCP elite, hey, you should do this. Your child can get U.S. citizenship. And, of course, you wonder why they would encourage this behavior. But what is the scale we're talking about? The Chinese government, a couple of research firms in China have looked at this, and they say that over the last 13 years, every year, roughly 100,000 Chinese babies have been born in the United States.
Come on.
Yeah. 100,000. That's their number.
100,000 annually
A year.
of Chinese people coming over to the United States to have their kids on American soil so that they have birthright citizenship, move back to China, raised in China, turn 18, can vote, can live, can do whatever they want in America. That is, would you say 13 years? 1.3 million?
What? And that's irrespective of the number of American families who adopted Chinese babies over the years. Remember that fantastic policy they had, one baby per family? And so all of the daughters got put up for adoption. That's a vast overstatement, but not very much, right? That's not those people. We're talking about Chinese people who came here and had a baby on purpose, like the Russians, like the birth tourism. This is not even including the surrogacy racket. Oh my heavens, this is one of those things that will make you go nutty.
So there's enormous political influence here. There's another component to this, Will, and that's the rise of surrogacy. So in this particular case, a guy in China will hire an American woman to carry his child. He'll pay her 50 to 60 grand to carry the child. Same thing, the child is born. The child will be a U.S. citizen because they were born here. Also, their mother, their biological mother, is American. They will then be picked up oftentimes by a third party, not even by the dad, picked up by a third party and sent back to China. We have no idea of the numbers on this. The Chinese government hasn't even estimated, but let me just give you 2 data points. Number one, the Wall Street Journal had an article about 5 weeks ago, a front page story about a single billionaire in China who's close to the CCP. He alone has 100 children that were born in the United States by this technique that are now being raised in China. This is in the Wall Street Journal. And there are other instances of guys that are, like in the middle double digits. But to look at the scale of this, just in Southern California, we found 107 Chinese-owned surrogacy companies that are offering these services in China to members of the elite. So this is a huge, huge, huge problem.
You guys ever looked at your children as commodities? As things to like buy and sell, trade on the open market? That's gross. That Wall Street Journal article, I found it. You ready? Inside a closed Los Angeles courtroom, something wasn't right. Clerks working for family court judge Amy Pellman were reviewing routine surrogacy petitions when they spotted an unusual pattern. The same name, over and over again. A Chinese billionaire was seeking parental rights to at least 4 unborn children. And the court's additional research showed that he had already fathered or was in the process of fathering at least 8 more, all through surrogates. What? So Shu Bo is his name. When Pellman called Shu Bo in for a confidential hearing in the summer of 2023, he never entered the courtroom, according to people who attended the hearing. The maker of fantasy video games lived in China and appeared via video, speaking through an interpreter. He said he hoped to have 20 or so U.S.-born children through surrogacy, boys because they're superior to girls, to one day take over his business. Several of his kids were being raised by nannies in nearby Irvine as they awaited paperwork to travel to China. He hadn't met them yet, he told the judge, because work had been busy. Pellman was alarmed, according to the people who attended the hearing. Surrogacy was a tool to help people build families, but what Xu was doing and describing didn't seem like parenting, the people said. The judge denied his request for parentage, normally quickly approved for the intended parents of a baby born through surrogacy, experts say. And the decision left the children he'd paid for to be born in legal limbo. The court declined to comment on the case. But this guy, this Chinese guy, an online mega poster but real-life recluse, has rarely spoken with reporters and hasn't been photographed in public for nearly a decade. A representative of his company didn't respond to specific questions about the hearing or the use of his surrogacy. But this is just one case of Chinese elites and billionaires who are going outside of China, where domestic surrogacy is illegal, to quietly have large numbers of U.S.-born children. And our Supreme Court, 3 so-called conservative justices, just let this continue to happen. Does that boggle the mind? It does boggle the mind. One guy has 100 American-born children. This isn't life. This isn't creating a family. This isn't a man and a woman getting together because they love one another and want that embodiment of love to be born unto them. It's a racket. It's disgusting. And it will continue until somebody comes out and comes up with a fix. Is it a constitutional amendment? Possibly. But what about Amy Coney Barrett? This isn't the woman she ran as. This isn't the woman who was vetted by constitutional lawyers, including Mike Davis of the Article 3 Project. This isn't the bill of goods that was sold. Did she lie? Did someone get to her? Is the proverbial gun being held to her head? Are her own children basically being held hostage to force completely unconservative votes like this or decisions? Well, let's hear from Mike Davis. He's on with Benny Johnson, and he's pissed. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I don't know. Sure is a question, isn't it? How does she defend that? I don't know. I think she got wicked spooked.
I agree.
Wicked spooked. And anybody who's willing to kill someone else, like Luigi Mangione, and then a party that celebrates that individual, or at least a fringe of it, you know that the lunatic crowd exists. Are you going to trifle with that? I don't know. We'll hear about it. Okay. If you have an occasion to go over to bloodflow7.com/Wendy, I want you to pay close attention to a product that is very exciting. It's the #1 weight loss supplement from our friends at Juvenon. It's sold under that website, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It's called GLP-1 Gold. I never understood, because I get so uncomfortable when I eat too much, and I get a giant belly, and I get very bloated, and I feel like just miserable. I will do almost anything to not feel that way. I never understood how people could become so morbidly obese. 500 pounds. It's like you can't even get around. How are you able to do that? Part of the problem could very well be the connection between the brain and the gut. And that hormone, GLP-1, which is supposed to tell your belly, don't eat anymore. Don't eat anymore. You've had enough. Let the system cleanse itself. Make space for more food. That's missing in some people. This brings it back. GLP-1 Gold by Juvenon, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It's not a shot. It doesn't have long-term side effects that we've ever heard about. It's safe. There are a bazillion reviews. You can read about the ingredients. Talk to your doctor. It's $1 a day. Is that worth it to you? It's worth it to me. Right? Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Look for this. And of course, look for Bloodflow7. But GLP-1 Gold. Remember, you get 30% off. I think it sounds very interesting. And look, I'll buy anything for facial products, right? Oh, I'll try that wrinkle reducer. People will try anything to lose weight. How about something that isn't dangerous? And it's effective. Significant weight loss, not just for a few pounds, it's significant weight loss. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Mike Davis makes a lot of sense, and he's fuming.
Did you get a pizza oven yet?
Mm-mm. No, but I just got bad news from Sam. I haven't read it yet because it just says, "Hey, Wendy, bad news." And I was like, ooh, okay. Apparently my fans aren't good.
Bad news.
In the big scheme of things, it's really not. We got to have a serious conversation about Ro Khanna, you guys, next hour. Uh-oh. Oh, Ro. Oh, Ro. Bless your heart. He's another Mitch McConnell. Got the rich wife. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So Article 3 of the U.S. Constitution creates the federal judicial branch, and it gives judicial power to the Supreme Court and any lower federal courts Congress creates. It says judges serve during good behavior, and it protects their pay from being reduced. That is Article 3 of the Constitution. Article 3 project is the creation of a gentleman named Mike Davis. And Mike Davis, who's joining Benny Johnson on his podcast yesterday, was part of the process to vet President Trump's Supreme Court picks, Neil Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett, and Brett Kavanaugh. And passed the Save America Act. She's a fraud, he says. Woo, listen.
I think it was the biggest mistake imaginable supporting Amy Coney Barrett. I think she is a disaster for the Supreme Court. She is, as I've said, a rattled law professor with her head up her ass, and she thinks that she is the smartest person in the room, and she's not. She's the junior varsity justice, and she thinks that she's grading law school exams instead of exercising sound judgment. We know why the Chief Justice does what he does. This is all about a vanity project for him. It's about his image. He's very chiefy, and he put his vanity today over our sovereignty, and it is unacceptable. It is inexcusable. We'll never come back from this as a country. And so here's the solution going forward: is we need to there is no excuse now from Senate Republicans. They must pass the Save America Act. And there's no excuse from Mark Wayne Mullen or anyone else in the Trump administration. We need to mass deport every illegal alien, not just the violent criminals, all of them, and especially the birthing age women, the birthing persons, as Democrats call these people. We need to get them the hell out of our country, because we did not sign up for this. We did not sign up for Chinese birth tourists coming to America, having their Chinese kids, and canceling our votes from Beijing.
How do you feel about that? I got to tell you, I feel pretty good about that. I don't feel like I need to be more compassionate. I don't need to feel like I have more to give. You don't need more of my money. Get out. Well, that's not very friendly. That's not very nice. I don't care. I'm done. Gloves off. Done. Go. Get out. Did she just say that? Wait a minute. What Mike Davis says gets even hotter. Listen.
She lied. She lied. She auditioned as a constitutionalist. She auditioned as the next Justice Scalia, for whom she clerked. She auditioned as this conservative constitutionalist law professor. That's how she auditioned. It was a fraud. She is a fraud. She lied through the process. Or it could be one of two things. She lied in her audition when she sold herself as a constitutionalist, and so did her people. All of her former clerks and everyone else sold her as a constitutionalist to me and many others. And I'll call them out by name at some point. Or she got rattled on the bench when they showed up at her house with her kids. She got scared, she got rattled, and she pivoted. She went into, I'm going to be a mother and be a mother hen and protect my kids and do what the left wants, because I don't want them to come to my house and kill my family. Who knows? It's one of those two things. But this Amy Coney Barrett that we see today with this birthright citizenship decision, that's not how she auditioned for the job, not even close.
I can already hear people out there with immigrants in their communities who've lived here for years. But they're good people. They work hard, they pay taxes. Why didn't you become a citizen? If you love this country and you love its benefits, you should love its flag. You should love its constitution. You should understand the Declaration. You should know who the founding fathers are. Don't tell me that I'm being inhumane. Oh, that's terrible. That's very white nationalistic of you. No. That's called dollars and cents. And my dollars are tired of you not making any freaking sense. The well has run dry. The kindness and the generosity and the humanity of the American people maybe has reached its end. So perhaps this is the movement. You're here illegally. I don't care how long it is. Go home and take your kids with you. How does that land with you? I don't care. How about that? And I'm sure I'm not in the minority. Do you know what it costs to raise 5 children? Yeah, you do. Because whether you have 5 or 1, or you're just you, it's freaking expensive. I don't need to carry more people along for the ride. Game over. You know who's not listening to any of this? Ro Khanna, congressman from California who absently wants to be the Democrats' nominee for president. He's not paying attention, is he? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
He just knows he's not Jewish.
Yeah, that's like the one thing he's got going for him, apparently, according to the left. Well, he's not a Jew. Other than that, And then that's sick that that's where we are. That's sick that that's where we are. I'm literally apathetic about people from other cultures, other belief systems, other religions, other races. I don't care. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're black. I don't care. I'm kind of interested in you if you're a hybrid, if you've been breeding with aliens, like those kind of. I'm kind of interested in you, but other than that, I don't care. Until you make me care.
Other aliens too, so we can kick them out.
Till you make me care, and you've made me care. You've made me care. Drive by Carnegie Mellon University. Oh, wow. Freaking United Nations. Find one white person. Good luck.
It's like finding Waldo.
Good luck. Good luck. Why are all these foreigners there? Because their parents pretty wealthy and they can pay cash. Is it because everybody else's kids in other countries are smarter than ours? No, but their deep pockets sure do grease some palms. I want to tell you about Disinfect with Sniper. Disinfectwithsniper.com, perhaps the single most brilliant addition to my home cleaning obsession. A Sniper. And I remember when they came to my house and they did a swab on my kitchen, my island in the kitchen. And they put it on a thing and they're like, all right, let's see what the bacteria count is on this. And it was like, I was like, what? I am very neat. No, not neat enough.
Do you remember when they pulled the register out of the floor?
And then they went psh, 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 and didn't even wipe it. Just let it sit there. We'll come back to this in a couple of minutes. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, it's doing its thing. We'll check it out in just a second. So we came back and they went,
you're clean.
And it was like 5 million parts of scum per whatever to like 6. And I was like, you don't make that sort of stuff up. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Greatest cleaner you'll ever have. Antifungal, antibacterial, anti-everything. SARS, MRSA, COVID, parvovirus, athlete's foot, all that stuff. Yes, it fixes.
And if you are,
yes,
because he's my friend,
disinfectwithsniper.com.
If you are near this area, Pittsburgh, he has a huge tent sale at his store in Bethel Park. EV True Value.
EVEY.
EVEY. It's in Bethel Park. It's over the July 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I believe.
He sells things for like pennies on the dollar.
Go. I'm just saying go.
Right? True. All right. And let me also thank the Simkovich Concussion Institute. I might be seeing my friend Diane later today. And she's the one who had the essential tremor. She's had for 40 years and just lived with it. And I knew it bothered her. And as friends, we would, help her pour her drink, or if there was, something to serve onto a plate and she would have to hold her hand and try to serve and her shaking. You just don't do that. So you'd help her do that. And she'd sit on her hands. And she was always scrunched up like this with her arms up because she's like trying to not tremble. And I was like, why don't you just go see Dr. Simkovich? And she's like, he's a traumatic brain injury guy. He's a concussion guy. I don't have a concussion. I'm like, what do you have to lose? So I called Stacy Simkovich, Doc's wife, and I'm like, hey, a friend of mine, I'd like to have her come in and see you. I don't know if you can help her, but maybe yes, maybe no. And diligently, both sides went back and forth. Diane got the MRI she needed. She got the clearance from her doctor. She did all the things that Doc asked her to do. And then Doc brought her in. He's like, look, I can't promise you anything, but let's give this a go. Let's see if we can maybe mitigate your shaking. And she said after the first day, several hours in his office, she literally wanted to skip out of the doctor's office. She's like, it's like a weight was lifted. Was she cured? No. Greatly helped? Yes. Whew. Sometimes being greatly helped is just what the doctor ordered. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com, 412-336-3700. 366-3700, pardon me. 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. I wouldn't recommend people I love go places if stuff doesn't work, if I don't like the people who are providing the service. But I was like, you're going to fall in love with Dr. Simkovich. You're going to love him. Love him. Bing, 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 bing. People come from all over the country for a reason. It's great. All right. Did we get to 2? This is all I care about. Because we still had a little ways to go. Oh, dear God. 1.87 rumbles. Can you guys, in a minute and 40 seconds, can we get to 2? It's 130 people. But this is shameful. We're now in our 3rd hour and we haven't even hit 2. And I know I told you I wasn't going to nag, but I might have lied to you. I didn't lie to you. I just don't want to get 1.87 rumbles. It's that little button underneath me. How you doing? I know. What's going on, Miss Molly? Hello. Hi, Sherry. What's going on, Rosebud? Hi, Demanda. Demanda. I know what's going on with you, girl. Hopefully you're okay, because I've been through it and it's tough. So let me know if you need anything. What's up, New K's? Freebird, hi. Oh, gosh. I'm not going to say your name. That's disgusting.
Which one?
The one. Sir. I need 60. Can I get 60?
Oh.
So awful. Some of your names are pretty gross. Hey, what's going on, Georges?
What, WBR Brock?
No. Hi, Myron. Hi, Patriotic Dawn. I love you back, Freebird. I love you back. We can only vote once. We aren't Democrats. Salted Care Bear. I love that. Yes. Hi, Darius. I see you, babe. Hi, Razor. What's going on, Renee Evan? Hi.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of gold, truth, and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Gavin Newsom is in a world of suck because Gavin Newsom sucks. And so does his wife. And so they've got some financial things they have to figure out. And he's hoping that people will stop paying attention to that. And they'll go with him. It's his time. It's like Hillary. I put up with Bill. I put up with what he did. You guys should feel sorry for me. It's my turn, damn it. No, we want the best. We want the brightest. We want somebody we can depend on. That ain't Gavin Newsom. Well, you know what? Ro Khanna thinks that he, from the same state of California, thinks he's got the goods, right? He's not paying attention to what's going on with these socialists. And that's a fact. Because the one thing that these Democrats, socialists, are just as Democrats as they want you to rebrand them. The one thing they don't want to take is money from billionaires. It's like the big thing. It's that line of demarcation. That's a bridge too far. We don't want to take money from billionaires. We want to go after the billionaires. We want to fight the billionaires. We want to drain the billionaires dry and redistribute their wealth to everybody else because that's going to solve the world's problems, said only a moron. Well, there you go. Now, if Ro Khanna was paying attention, as the California congressman most assuredly has not, he would identify that there's not a snowball's chance in hell that he is going to con enough of these Democrat socialists, Justice Democrats, to vote for him. Period. Why? Well, it seems like Ro Khanna, as much as he wants you to believe that he's just like you are, just a hardworking dude, pulled myself up from the bootstraps, doing what I do like everybody else. He's rich. And a Washington Free Beacon report has exposed just how rich he is. Look, I don't besmirch anybody's fortune. You know, I don't think that's a disqualifier at all. But if you look at the dynamic of what's going on with the Civil War in the Democrat Party, being a rich guy, being a rich establishment guy, that's total kryptonite to the DSA. And that's what Ro Khanna is. So here we go. Oh, Ro. This is an article from the Gateway Pundit that then bounces to this Washington Free Beacon article, which I want to read to you. Fight the oligarchy? ? Representative Ro Khanna reportedly lives in a luxury home with a 4-story elevator and owns 3 private golf courses. I mean, who doesn't, right? Who doesn't? I don't care that he does, but it sure is interesting that it's completely opposite of what these DSA folks are wanting. So here we go. Representative Ro Khanna of California is part of the leftist coalition that is supposedly all about fighting the oligarchy. He's just doing it from the comfort of a luxury home with a multi-floor elevator while driving an SUV that cost about $200,000. But you know who's counting. A lot of people now. This is no different than Bernie Sanders flying private jets all over the country as he demands that we tax the rich more than we already are, or AOC driving a Tesla as she complains about Elon Musk. They all love to complain about the evils of wealth, except their own, naturally. Check out this eye-popping report from the Washington Free Beacon. I'm going to read it to you. Ready? Representative Ro Khanna has emerged as a potential contender for the Democratic presidential nomination while denouncing the ultra-rich who hoard wealth and engage in financial speculation. However, the progressive Silicon Valley congressman and his family live a life of staggering luxury, fueled by dynastic wealth they did not earn and protected by the same thicket of trusts, anonymous corporations, and foundations that Khanna condemns. You ready? Ro Khanna lives in a $6 million, 8,000 square foot luxury home with a 4-story elevator and so much premium marble that even the 2 laundry rooms have marble counters. The Northwest Washington, D.C. home is now for sale as the Khanna family prepares to move, like the Newsoms did, to an even larger, more expansive house a few miles away in the Northern Virginia suburbs. Khanna's 2 children, who are minors, have large ownership shares in 3 private golf clubs, a significant stake in a $65 billion wealth management firm, and investments in hedge funds that focus on distressed debt, all of which Khanna has been critical of, right? Khanna's wife drives a $190,000 Range Rover that she was so displeased with that she sued the dealer. They're just like you and I are, right? I mean, sure, they look a little different from different places, maybe, but we love immigrants, particularly rich ones. A Washington Free Beacon investigation into Khanna's finances finds that the progressive truth teller's lifestyle is funded by his wife, Ritu Ahuja Khanna, an heiress. Wait, you can't. You can't make it up. He so desperately does not want you to know this, by the way. He's outside right now trying to scuff up his loafers so he looks like he's from, he's like Jenny on the block or whatever. An analysis of his financial disclosures reveals his gilded life is enriched by the same sort of investment vehicles that Khanna has said he has a moral duty to oppose, and that Khanna's family is a beneficiary of this new gilded age he condemns. His family wealth comes from his father-in-law, Monty Ahuja, an Indian-born Cleveland auto parts magnate turned investor and philanthropist. Like many of the global ultra-rich with generational wealth, Ahuja has set up various trusts and other financial models to benefit his children and his grandchildren. Look, good for them. Good for them. If you're a car parts magnate, good for you. If you're loaded beyond loaded and you're setting up your grandchildren, good for you. But don't try to run as a, I know how you feel, Democrat, because you don't. These complex financial structures are deliberately opaque. But Ro Khanna, as a member of Congress, is legally required to disclose his family's financial affairs to the public. This visibility, however, has been somewhat obscured by Khanna's decision to file his financial disclosures in the old analog format. Interesting. Effectively rendering it immune to a thorough examination without the use of sophisticated data analysis tools. Is that kind of like the Biden crime family syndicate using 9 family members to get all of these little monetary bumps in their bank account so that nobody would really know? Yeah, it's kind of like that. Huh. In 2024, Khanna's financial disclosure clocked in at least his financial disclosure, okay? Clocked in at 333 pages of non-text searchable tables listing over 3,000 individual assets owned by him, his wife, and his children, with each asset having ticked one of 13 available boxes corresponding to an asset valuation range. Put together, those assets are worth anywhere from $103 million to more than $340 million, according to a Free Beacon review. And it's possible that the net worth of Khanna's nuclear family, just the 4 of them alone, would far exceed $340 million. He reported a total of 10 assets held by his wife and his 2 children, including the stakes they hold in 3 golf clubs, as simply being worth more than $1 million with no disclosed ceiling. For his 2 young children, Khanna reported in 2024 that they owned between $26 million and more than $73 million in irrevocable trusts, a wealth transfer vehicle that could shield them from future inheritance taxes. His wife purchased the couple's current Washington, D.C. home through one of her trusts in 2020 for $3.15 million, real estate records show. The house, which is located in an enclave of newly constructed luxury homes in Northwest D.C., is less than a mile from a private school for young children, which counted Khanna's wife as a member of its parents' association. Look, is any of this stuff at face value disqualifying? Probably not. Is that the guy the Democrat socialists want leading the party? No. No. Bad timing, Ro. Kind of like 2024 when Ron DeSantis thought it was his time to challenge Donald Trump, who was on a revenge comeback tour. Yeah, he got some bad advice. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, Senator Bernie Moreno's plan to undo the high court's fail on birthright citizenship and how he plans to basically make Harry Reid roll over in his grave. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Like, I don't besmirch anybody their wealth. Unless you're, of course, using a bunch of loopholes so you don't have to pay taxes
He's
on
doing
it.
exactly what I said the other day. Using the rules
To his
avoid
benefit.
paying taxes,
To his benefit, right?
which I'm okay with. But the socialists will not be okay with you not paying taxes on that.
Health revolution. You know, health revolution basically was born of the working class, was born of anyone who's tired of getting boned on their health insurance. Anybody who got screwed up in the Unaffordable Care Act and the farcical Obamacare marketplace, where your premiums skyrocketed, your deductibles went through the roof, and your ability to be sick became unaffordable. Enough. Enough. That's what Health Revolution says. They said, call us. 800-868-6187. Call us. We'll help you create your own health insurance plan. Save 30 to 60% on your premium. Destroy your deductible. Make copays the thing of the past and allow you to choose which doctors you want to see and where you want to see them. Is that possible? Well, clearly there's some open enrollment jazz. You got to jump through the hoops. Nope. No open enrollment. Literally all you have to do is go to info.healthrevolution.net or call that number 800-868-6187. Share a couple things about yourself. Make sure you're under the age of 65, that you're in relatively good shape health-wise, right? I think there's some things that are disqualifying as pre-existing conditions, but I don't know which they are. But for the vast majority of people like you and like myself, this is one of these ways to save possibly $1,000 a month on your medical costs, your medical insurance. People who are on COBRA, people who are self-employed, gig workers, people who are going to fall through the cracks when Obamacare implodes, because it already has. This is for you. Info.healthrevolution.net. Now it's freezing in here. Are you freezing?
Yes.
There's like my toes literally are white.
But it's now 93 degrees outside.
Correct. Correct.
So we'll step outside when we leave. And
I can't bitch, but I just did.
Wendy will, 2 seconds after walking out the door, go, it's not that bad.
Yeah. And then I'm like, because it's stupid. You walk outside and it feels good because it's warm. And you're like, oh, dear Lord. And then you're like, that's a little too much. That's a little more than I want. Tulip blooms. I love that that's your response. Get back on screen. Why did you just do that?
Because it makes your hands and feet feel good. They feel good. I like.
Men like having soft feet too. If you have heels, that's where I can get it sometimes. Or on my big toe, you get a callus.
Oh, yeah.
Based on how you walk. Tulip blooms, essential oils, the body butters, the magnificent balms and salves they have for pain relief, for just total relaxation and to pamper your body and make your skin feel like freaking velvet. What is it, velvet? Yes. Tulip blooms. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. The velour massage oil is off the grid. But everything they do, they have cleansers. They have the Tulip Soothe. This little jobby. Info. No. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. Oh my gosh. Rub it on you. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So I enjoy wealthy people. I think the wealthy, I find them fascinating. I don't envy them. I don't wish I was them. I don't look at homes and say, why not me? I should have that too. They encourage me. The uber wealthy encourage me. No matter how you get your wealth, right? Well, let's say lawfully. I like that. Socialists aren't going to like that. I want to pivot to this, though, because Senator Bernie Moreno, who I think is a wonderful addition to Congress from Ohio, he says he plans to try to flip the script on the high court's fail on birthright citizenship. And he pledges to do something that's extraordinarily smart and yet exceedingly simple. He says he plans to run former Democrat Senate leader Harry Reid's exact 1993 bill, calling to eliminate birthright citizenship for children of illegals. What? What did Reid's bill propose? Well, common sense stuff. Remember when Democrats had a little bit more common sense? Ending birthright citizenship, reducing illegal immigration, establishing caps on asylum, and strengthening border security. Common freaking sense. Let's listen back to 1993 when the senator from Nevada stood up and he said exactly this. He said, America has an immigration problem because we reward it. Listen.
And we wonder, in this country, why we have an illegal immigration problem. If making it easy to be an illegal alien isn't enough, how about offering a reward for being an illegal immigrant? No sane country would do that, right? Guess again. If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship and guarantee of full access to all public and social services this society provides. And that's a lot of services. Is it any wonder that 2/3 of the babies born at taxpayer expense at county-run hospitals in Los Angeles are born to illegal alien mothers?
Now, if we said something instead, if we removed the incentives to this, right, to having babies here in America, would fewer people come over? Absolutely. You don't get to, collect $200 and pass go. You don't get free health care. You don't get free food. You don't get free education. Look what they did, though, to cajole the 20 million immigrants to come across the border. How many of those people were pregnant? How many babies were born of those women? How many tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of babies were just granted U.S. citizenship, ladies and gentlemen? Harry Reid continued, 33 years ago, it was 100,000 illegals entering the country illegally and claiming political asylum. Remember, during Joe Biden, those 4 years, it was 20 million.
Last year, more than 100,000 people showed up in this country, landing at our airports, washing up on our shores in leaky boats, crossing our borders illegally, overstaying their visas, saying two magic words, political asylum, and virtually assured themselves of being allowed to remain in the United States forever. Anyone, no matter how specious the claim, can utter those words and usually within a matter of hours be released on their own recognizance onto the streets of our country with a promise that they'll show up for a hearing 18 months later. Can anyone really say they're surprised that the vast majority of asylum applicants never, ever show up for these hearings?
You don't have to be a common sense conservative woman as I am to say, I'm tired of paying for this. I'm tired of being a second-class citizen. I'm tired of my children not mattering. I'm tired of not being able to have the health care that my family deserves, that I work hard to provide because it's unaffordable, because so many people who should not be here are getting it for free. I'm tired of the crime. I'm tired of the drunk driving deaths. The driver never dies. It's all the people they run into who do. Can you imagine being someone like Laken Riley's mom or Jocelyn Nungary's mom? Or how many other people? How about the illegal alien who was found to have a woman's body, decapitated body, in a barrel of acid on his property that he was, I guess, getting free housing to stay at? What about her justice? What about her family? What about we the people? This was the conversation yesterday on Capitol Hill. As the family of Sheridan Gorman who was killed by an illegal in Illinois, came and asked Congress, when are you going to start caring about us first? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Tulip Soothe. I'm just going to say. I don't want arthritis, but I have it. So I'm put this on. And in literally 20 minutes, the ache goes away. Tulip Soothe. Tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Last thing I'm going to tell you about today, I believe. And you guys are always wonderful to humor me. Hold on.
I might have to break open the Wendy Bell Radio tab.
What do you mean? For what?
See a lot of things that said sale that.
Oh, is that right? All right, this is it. This is what I want to talk to you about finally. Drink LTV. You know, I wonder how much of our bodies, I've had my gallbladder out, and usually they tell you that the gallbladder has sludge or whatever, and we got to take it out because it's not working. What if it's your liver? What if your liver is dehydrated? What if your liver is full of yuck? What if you could detox and hydrate your liver? Would it make a difference to you? Well, a gentleman, a physician, Dr. Josh, if I'm not mistaken, practicing doctor, over 25 years of medical expertise, has created a daily hydration drink called LTV. This isn't just like some Gatorade electrolyte thing meant to jazz you up and get some fluid into your body. It's specifically for your liver. Clinical dose marine electrolytes with taurine in it. And there's a benefit to that because it helps your cells actually hold on to water. So much of what we take, it's flushed through our system. This is meant to absolutely, when you dissolve it in water, you drink it, it needs to get into your cellular level, and that's what it does. It also has milk thistle and dandelion root to support your liver's natural detoxification function. LTV has already helped thousands of people, has received incredible reviews from customers who noticed results fast. So say goodbye to constant bloating, afternoon crashes, and that dried out, foggy feeling, and say hello to real energy, smoother digestion, and a body that actually feels hydrated for the first time in years. Up to 64% off. You're like, I don't know. Does it work? I have no idea. I haven't tried it yet because I need to finish my drinks that I'm drinking. This is what they say. And I looked at the 5-star reviews off the freaking charts. Millions of customers, thousands of 5-star reviews, 64% off, up to 64% off, which is like, why wouldn't you do this? drinkltv.com/Wendy. Give it a go. See what you think. I have a whole bag of it and I can't wait to get into it. But I don't want to like overdo it with all my drinks. Can you imagine I'd be in the bathroom until next Thursday? Nobody likes that. That is tasty. Are you still drinking, Chuck? You'll never stop. They might ebb and flow on our sponsorship, but we'll not stop. We're in for the long haul, baby. All right. So we'll see what Bernie Moreno does. So he's going to introduce this bill, and it's the same thing from 33 years ago, which is wild, when Democrats actually had the same views about birthright citizenship that common sense conservatives now have. And by the way, all these people you pay for. So all the progressives and the socialists out there were like, we need affordability. Things are out of control. Look at your party. What was that?
Nothing.
Why does that look like the face of a liar?
It was my phone making a noise.
Then that wasn't nothing. Why was so hard?
Okay, it's my phone making a noise.
Sounds very suspicious. Whatever. You do you, babe. 4,300 here. Hello. Well, 4,200 and 450. You know what? This is the slow march towards a holiday weekend. I know a lot of people aren't around, and yet you are, and you show up every single day. I got a cute message from somebody who's listening to us in France. They're like, I love you, and every single one, I love your show, and I can't get enough. And I'm like, aw, Let's see.
That wasn't a pizza oven.
What?
I was mistaken what I sent you. You weren't even paying attention.
Well, no, because I'm actually doing a show. Remember when he told me yesterday when I wasn't paying attention?
Yelled at because I'm working.
What is it? Weber
Grill.
Oh.
Back tailgate grill. But they have a pizza in it, so it looks like a pizza.
Oh, yeah, they do. I could go for pizza right now. You know which one I want from that coal-fired place with the arugula on it? Give me arugula or give me
Arugula.
death. I'm making chicken Milanese tonight. It's such a good meal. Cannot wait. There's going to be extra. And
I'll be having hot dogs.
well, you know what? Learn how to cook then. That was good. You should rumble for that. Somebody out there was like, dang, she just did it. What? Well, why don't you learn how to cook?
I grill.
That's cooking. So what? So why you can't cook?
I just said I'm having hot dogs. That's
Oh, I'm sorry. I misinterpreted. Sound like you were playing the victim as you always do. Good.
I'm not having chicken Malays.
It's Milanese.
I'm having lips and. Did you ever hear about the pigs?
No. What?
They'll know
What?
what a hot dog is.
I stopped an old man along the way.
Aha questions. The rudeness, the lack of civility is disgraceful. And things got heated yesterday. Have you ever noticed that when there is a meaningful congressional hearing, that oftentimes Democrats in lockstep, in mass, just don't show up? Oh, here's Hunter Biden. Nobody shows. Oh, here's Tony Fauci talking about this and that. No, nobody shows. Oh, here we're talking about vaccine injuries. How many people have been harmed? Nobody shows on the left. Does that tell you everything? Well, it tells you a lot. And I think America's tired of it. And as I watch what's going on in this Democrat civil war, as I say, and I believe that's what's going on, that this Democrat Party has created their spawn, and the spawn is pissed. And they don't know better, but they know that things aren't really going well. And they know that it feels pretty good to protest and to be angry because that's easier than going out and working hard and creating something. That's going on over here. Donald Trump is carving out people who don't stand up for the values of conservatives. Bit by bit, carving them out. Thomas Massey, Bill Cassidy, John Cornyn, Tom Tillis, 5 Indiana state Republicans. Bye-bye. This is going on. We're in this weird flux. But there are just some stories that transcend politics. And if it costs you your child because of an illegal alien, that deserves everybody's attention. House testimony gets heated over sanctuary policies as Angel Mother testifies. I can't imagine. I had a dream about 10 years ago. It was a nightmare, and I don't dream commonly, and I don't have nightmares. But it was extraordinarily vivid. And the end of it was me being notified that my oldest son had been killed. And that I needed to go and identify his body. And it was a dream that I can taste. Because I sat up in bed and said, no. And my husband, Joe, was next to me, and he like jumped out of bed and he's like, what? And I threw off the sheets and I ran down the hallway and I threw open the door. And Michael and Jack share a room. And I ran over to Michael's bed and he was startled, and I grabbed him and I squeezed him and was crying. That was a dream. It was a nightmare. Imagine living that nightmare. I can't fathom it, but that's exactly what Jessica Gorman and her daughter and her husband have been living with. And they had to go to testify yesterday on Capitol Hill. And there are all these pictures of their dead daughter, Sheridan, who ought not be dead. And she has to, the mom, Jessica, has to stand there, sit there, and has to talk about her daughter and how the policies of Democrats, this open border and the refusing to work with ICE, killed her daughter. And the Democrats don't want to hear about it. They're like, you know what? We're busy. We don't have time for this. And then there's this pissing match, this argument between Jamie Raskin and Mike Lawler, neither of whom I like. One a Democrat, one a Republican. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, you're not doing this. Yes, they were. And I wanted you just to hear a little bit of it, because I'm ashamed to tell you that I can't handle more than that, right? And I can't fathom what that family feels. Things got heated on Capitol Hill when Jessica Gorman, mother of the late Sheridan Gorman, testified during a House Judiciary Subcommittee meeting on immigration, integrity, security, and enforcement hearing that examined how sanctuary policies have placed criminal illegal aliens above the interests and the safety of Americans. Sheridan was just 18 when she was killed in March by an illegal alien just outside of Loyola Chicago's campus. The hearing started with a hostile exchange between Republican Representative Mike Lawler and Democrat Representative Jamie Raskin. Lawler ripped into Raskin for supporting the sanctuary policies that allowed Sheridan Gorman's killer to be free on the streets. This is how it sounded.
So while some of my colleagues may not want to hear the truth, the same outrage you feel about Renee Good and Alex Preddy, you should feel about Sheridan Gorman and Laken Riley and every Angel family in this country.
I do feel that outrage.
You do not. Because if you did, you would not support sanctuary jurisdiction.
Do you feel the outrage about Alex Preddy and Renee Good? You should be ashamed of yourself. You don't belong in this committee. You should get the hell out of here. You don't understand the rules of the committee. You don't understand the Constitution.
You're a disgrace.
Full of it.
Mr. Raskin, you're absolute disgrace supporting sanctuary policies.
Say one word about it.
Get rid of sanctuary
Alex Preddy.
I did. I wrote a whole New York Times op-ed about it. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself for not opposing sanctuary policies that resulted in their daughter's death.
The committee.
P.S. How dare Jamie Raskin and Pramila Jayapal, dirtbags, liken the murder of Sheridan Gorman to the chosen actions of Alex Preddy and Renee Good to put themselves in danger, all to protest ICE. They made decisions that day just like freaking George Floyd, and it ended poorly for all three of them. Do you know what Sheridan Gorman was doing that day in Chicago? She and her friends had gone to go see the northern lights. They were hoping to in Illinois. This is Sheridan Gorman's mom, Jessica. And she says, I don't understand. I want you to explain to me why you put illegal aliens ahead of my daughter, ahead of the American people. Make it make sense.
On March 19th, Sheridan went with friends to the lakefront in Chicago because they hoped they might see the northern lights. She never saw those lights. The man accused of murdering my daughter is Jose Medina, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela who should not have even been in this country. And even after committing a crime and having an outstanding warrant, he was left on the streets of Chicago to murder my innocent American child. But this story, it's not about him. The story is about my Sheridan. It's about how failed border policies, sanctuary city laws, and twisted leaders refused to cooperate with ICE. They sent her to her grave. It's about a government and politicians that forgot their first priority. And the question before this committee is painfully simple. When did protecting our American citizens stop being your first priority? And even more important, why did protecting our American citizens stop being your first priority? I want an explanation, I need one, and I deserve one. But first I want you to know who my Sheridan was. I want you to understand what we all lost.
I can't. I could not continue with that, and I'm sorry. Because it's too much. I can't imagine. She continues, why won't you Democrats? Why don't you care? She calls them out.
And I understand that you're here for a reason. I don't understand why it's only the Republican side that cares about our American children. And I know that you're a mother. I know that you're a father. I deeply value that. But basically what you just did, what you said was, I'm so sorry for your loss. I have a daughter too. I have a son. I feel your pain. You don't. You don't feel my pain. Because the next words out of your mouth were, but. There's no but. When your child is in a coffin, there's no but. And I need you to understand that. And if you ever want to talk about it, I'm here. I'm going to buy you a bench. You can put that on the record. I'm going to buy Congress a bench. And they can come and sit and hold my hand and look me in the eye and explain to me why illegal immigrants are more important than my daughter. I really want to know because I don't understand.
She's talking to Pramila Jayapal. Who did what? Well, she said this. Oh my.
Unfortunately, this hearing is, it's the fourth time in this committee that we've had a hearing on sanctuary cities. The fourth time. And there's many other things that we could be doing other than this.
Are you out of your mind? By the way, these new citizens that the Democrats invited into our country, one of them is holding his baby who's born in America now, who's given him an anchor to stay. And he says, you know what? Why should I work when you will work so I don't have to? This is where we are.
You came to the United States to work, and I came to vacation. Look at the difference. She is the one that maintains me. That is why I don't work, because the government gives her what belongs to her, to my daughter, for being an American citizen. Capiche? I have no need to work because, well, guys like few of you, this little princess, for being American, already receives a lot of money. Capiche? The trick is to have children in the United States. Here is the gold mine. The gold mine.
Capiche? Stephen Miller understands what's at stake. And yesterday he says, you know what? We're going to have to take a close look at who comes into our country on a green card or a visa, especially if they're of childbearing age.
You have to now think very carefully about
who you let into your country, even on a temporary basis, because the possibility, as you said, for birth tourism, right? The idea that people come here just to have babies on American soil, and that baby gets to be a citizen for life. So you have mothers that come in fully pregnant, have a baby, go home, and again, that baby gets Medicaid, and that baby gets welfare, and that baby gets cash assistance, and can send, leave the baby with, a cousin, a relative, whatever, and then to send welfare checks back home. You can support a whole family in the third world. So yes, you can't have the kinds of immigration programs other countries have when you can just have a baby here, and now that child is an American citizen. So there's a lot of things we're going to have to take a hard look at.
And they're going to be ugly. And they're going to be necessary. Thanks, Amy Coney Barrett. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Dr. Jill Biden's book. You guys have got bad news. I know it's going to hurt you, but you got to hang tight for this one. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Oh, Jill. I can't fathom. I can't imagine being part of that club. I just can't. And for Jayapal to be like, we've had 4 hearings. There's a lot of other stuff we could be doing. I would want
the throat punch.
No, I would want to hurt her more than that. I believe in superhuman strength. I believe in times of emergency of people who have no earthly ability to do what they do, doing what they do. Lifting a car off of somebody, lifting a tree off of somebody. There's no way you have the strength to do that. And in a moment of what have you, I would put my hands on her face and probably do one of those. And it makes me feel disgusting for even admitting that. I don't have words for that. How do you vote for that? How do you vote for that? Who are you? Look, the Republicans are far from perfect, but gee whiz, there's a process, and the process is working. Get these people out. I don't want Rand Paul as a senator anymore. He can go after Fauci all he wants. I don't trust Mike Lee either. Sorry. I don't trust you. Something happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Who got to Marjorie Taylor Greene? Who got to freaking Tucker Carlson? Who got to Alex Jones? Who got to Candace Owens? You mean to tell me that they just all of a sudden flipped a switch? And they become somebody totally different? This president has been 100% predictable and consistent. He hasn't been like this. He hasn't given you policy where you're like, what? He ran on what he ran on. He put it out in a bullet point. He did videos. This is what we're doing. This is not a shocker. What on earth happened? Somebody got to them. Something happened. Somebody was promised something, or somebody was threatened with something. I think that's why Amy Coney Barrett is all over the place. I think that's why Judge Roberts is all over the place. There is shit on that man. There's a file on everybody. And now what they say, we're going to drop all of the sexual deviants in Congress, do you believe that? I don't know.
I think it's going to be scrubbed.
Of course.
So clean. Did you mean Mike Lee or Mike Lawler?
Mike Lee. Mike Lee voted against a lot of this stuff that would have built the wall. He voted against it. So did Marco Rubio. Interesting. Do you just go back to 2018 and say, yeah, I've changed since then? I don't know, maybe, but it makes me question them.
Soon?
I'm so tired of being the ones who have to get bent over to pay for all of their malfeasance. And yet we're the ones who are told we have to stop it. Sorry. By golly, if you're not feeling ire, if you don't want to claw somebody's face out from time to time, I don't know if you're paying attention. So tired of it. I wish we could just start over. I wish Congress was an Etch-a-Sketch where we could just shake it because the stairs didn't work right. Remember, if you're a product of the 70s and I am, you had an Etch-a-Sketch. Can't we just erase and start over? How do you prevent it from happening again? I don't know. I do know is that Jill Biden, Dr. Jill, excuse me, for those keeping score, is not a New York Times bestselling author, and that the jig is up. Everybody knows that they're starting to see that the New York Times bestselling book BS is not what they say it is. It's a profitable way for Democrats to divert money to people who've served them. That's it. They reward people who lie, who cheat, who steal, who cover up, who offer fake testimony, right? They offer them New York Times bestselling book deals. Dr. Jill came out with her memoir. Who would give a rat's rear end about what the hell that woman thinks? To be serious. Take, for example, everything that she let Joe Biden, she let her husband be used, right? So she could be in the Oval Office. Well, apparently her best-selling book was only a bestseller for like 7 moments. Jill Biden's memoir disappears from the New York Times bestseller list after debuting at the very top. And it's raising questions about the sales numbers. Like, is that real? Well, I'll give you the nuts and bolts. Former First Lady Jill Biden's memoir had a brief stint atop the New York Times bestseller list before tumbling out of the rankings just a few weeks later. So weird. Sort of like Joe Biden getting 81 million votes. So weird. Fueling online speculation that its lofty debut owed more to bulk book orders than to sustained reader demand. View from the East Wing, which was published by Simon & Schuster's imprint Gallery Books, debuted at #1 on the New York Times hardcover nonfiction list on June 21st with a dagger symbol indicating that retailers reported some bulk purchases. By the following week, it had slipped to #3, and it has since now fallen off the list altogether. Shocker. The sharp drop has sparked claims on social media that the 299-page book reached the top through orchestrated buying campaigns instead of real consumer demand. Former 538 founder Nate Silver was among the most prominent critics, writing on X that the memoir, quote, debuted at #1 on the NYT due to astroturfed bulk orders before noting that it was completely off the list 2 weeks later and calling such a rapid decline very rare. Publishing experts caution that the reality, of course, it's a bit more nuanced. I don't think there's anything sinister about it. Lauren Cobello, founder and CEO of Leverage with Media PR, told The Post, I think it's a strategy, a smart strategy for how people are engaging their network so that they can get more books in the hands of their readers. What exactly is that dagger indicator on the New York Times thing? It says what? It says there are strong indications that bulk purchases made a significant role in elevating Jill Biden's memoir View from the East Wing to the #1 New York Times bestseller list. They're not done with the smoke and mirrors, ladies and gentlemen. They want you to believe that Joe Biden, who was a mental midget before and now just demented, was able to not campaign, not go out, not have any policy that was worth a darn, and get 81 million votes, which was like 9 million more than the first black president, because that makes sense. right? Like the most unpopular first lady ever, whose clothes were like my grandmother's drapes, right? Everybody was so hot to hear what she had to say. Yeah, maybe she'll tell us whose Coke that was in the White House. Please. They think you're stupid. They're banking on you being stupid, but you're not. Thanks for being part of the Wendy Bell radio program. I appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Peace.